When we was hanging out in Don King's penthouse.
No, forget it. Forget it. Fuck. What's wrong with me? What is that like? Fuck. Now, how's your family again? How's everybody doing?
Oh my God.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of HOTBOX, and I'm Evan Britton.
And I'm Mike Tyson.
Dude, Mike, we got the man in here today,
Big
brother.
time. This show must going to get pretty views, man, after this.
It's going to be exciting.
Massive
Cool J,
views.
welcome, brother.
What up, baby? What up?
Oh,
Thank you.
man.
What up?
Dude, great to have you here.
Yeah.
Happy to be here, man. You know what I mean?
It's amazing. I mean...
Let's start off with the beginning first.
Yeah.
We're going to go to the ancestors.
Okay.
So tell us, being for Queens, right? What made you decide to be a rapper? Where did it all start?
I mean, it all started because, honestly, I just felt, growing up in Queens, you feel like almost forgotten. You know what I'm saying? And I just felt like that was the first time I ever heard brothers being powerful. I never heard black men be powerful before. I never heard them talk with pride and power and strength. And when I first heard Treacherous 3, Fearless 4, Crash Crew, Africa Bambaataa, Zulu Nation, when I first heard that wave of rappers come in, it just was the first time that I heard somebody say something that was empowering like that. Because when you're growing up in the hood, you almost feel forgotten. You know what I'm saying? It's like you almost, there's a part of you that wants to hide. That's why you see people walking like this. They're kind of being tough, but they're kind of hiding a little bit from everything that's going on. And it was like, that was the first time I heard people open up, you know what I'm saying, and be powerful. So I wanted to be a part of that. Having tough times with my step-pops, tough times with different people in my life. It was just, it was really just an energizing time for me. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Pretty much so.
Yeah,
so who was the
absolutely.
first guy that really give you the idea that I could be this? 'Cause sometimes we look at guys that give us that and give us that light and say, wow, that's inspiring. But how do I get that?
When I first heard the Cold Crush,
Yeah.
I was a little kid, and Cold Crush Brothers rap, one of the founder fathers of hip hop. The guys in my neighborhood used to be like, yo, I would like imitate them, and then they was like, yo, you got a good voice. Let me hear you do that again.
Nice.
They was like, oh, you sound good. Imitate them some more. So I would imitate them some more. And then after a while, around like 11 or 12, I started writing my own rhymes, writing my own lyrics, and the rest is history. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
You must
dude.
have saw MC Shan and said, fuck. Because MC Shan, when no one knows, MC Shan, he's the first rapper that started coming to the fights.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't know that.
He's the first one.
Yeah, see, I wasn't exposed to Shan like that back then. It was really about the groups that came out of the Bronx and Harlem. I don't know how long Shan was doing it prior to that, but for me it was treacherous, it was fearless, it was obviously anybody affiliated with Zulu, it was all of those artists, Flash, Treacherous 3, Mo
Flash.
D, all of them. Cool,
Melly
like,
Mel.
yeah, all them tapes was coming through, and that was Enjoy Records, Sugar Hill Records. You know what I'm saying? Like those were between the tapes and those labels, between Sugar Hill and Joy, Lady B from Philly.
But Queen had their sound, though. I remember they had Roxanne Shante.
Yeah, well, that was later.
Yeah, they had
so
a
later
flow.
on, Shantae, Shan,
Yeah.
Marley Marl, all of that. That was much later, but definitely Queens was represented. Even before that, you had, DJ Divine, you had the Disco Twins, you had Infinity Machine, which was like groups that was like...
That was just back, yes, y'all.
Yeah,
to the mic, yeah. yes, y'all. To the beat, y'all.
Exactly.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
When did you guys meet? You're about the same age, right?
Yeah,
No, where did we meet?
I don't know. We hung out a lot of times because I used to just come to, wherever you was at, we'd hang out and I'd be like, yo, Champ, yo, Mike, what up? And I think it was some kind of lunch, like a restaurant, right? And you had a limousine. You remember? And I came
no.
to yeah. You had a limousine. And it was at a restaurant or something, and some girls or something, and I came to hung out with you, and we was chilling, and we was riding around in a limo, and it was, and I don't know, like, and then you had Shorty Black with you at that time, and Shorty's from my hood.
I know he's from your neighborhood.
Yeah, he's from my neighborhood. He was, so
I
it was
remember
like
all
that.
those guys. Remember all those guys used to be out there. Prince and those guys.
Yeah, of course.
Prince used to be in Brownsville. That's how I knew, but I didn't know about all the Supreme. But that's fuck.
Yeah.
They were rolling back there.
Oh yeah, no
Black
doubt.
Justin, they were rolling.
No question.
They
No
were
question.
rolling.
Divine, Prince.
Yes, they
You know
weren't
what I'm
fucking
saying?
around.
Bump. You know what I'm saying? Shorty. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Yeah, that's the hood.
Ronnie Bumps and all those guys too.
yep.
One up, peace.
Peace, shout out.
It's dope, man. I was born in New York City, lived in Brooklyn until I was 10. Then my mom moved me and my brother out here to L.A.
Okay.
But we talk about all the time how many people from New York, that area, are just like
But why?
superstar
Listen, but
talents.
why is it New York since the beginning? Really, why if it's not New York? Why is it everybody comes in? Why is it New York
Right.
that
Well,
gets that spark? That boom,
Yeah,
when you blow,
it's
the
about
world
that
hears about
energy,
you.
you know?
Why
Well,
is it
you know,
New
New York was, I think, you know, for many, many years, New York has been the center of the universe when it comes to,
Yeah.
you know, just things happening in the United States, whether it's capitalism, the whole Yankee New York mentality, that New York hustle is just something that was very real. It's not to like minimize any other states or any other parts of the world or America, but New York, that New York hustle is a real thing. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And I think that idea that if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere is
real.
that's some real shit.
It is.
That's very real.
It
You know what I
definitely
mean?
is.
know what the real, cause like, you know, if you go to Hollywood, you go to entertainment, everybody knows everybody. Hey, my
No
cousin
doubt.
know you. My cousin used to hang out with
Yeah.
my cousin's dead now, but he was locked up with you. Whoa, he said, really? He said, really? You know, everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
That's true. That's
It's
true.
a neighborhood, man.
No doubt.
Yeah,
no
it's
doubt.
the neighborhood.
Yeah. Well, when was your first big break with music?
First big break with music was actually, you know, when I was 14, I started trying to make a record, right? So
Wow.
I started sending demos out at age 14. I started writing at 12, 11 to 12. 14, I started sending out demos. When I turned 16, I sent a demo in to Rick Rubin. There was a record out called It's Yours by Tila Rock.
Yeah.
It's yours. And I sent a demo in to Rick Rubin. Actually, Ad Rock of the Beastie Boys heard the demo first. He heard the demo, Ad Rock of the Beastie Boys, and he liked it, and he played it for Rick. And when he played it for Rick, Rick called me. I went in. He had a dorm room at NYU, you know what I'm saying, 5 University Place, you know what I'm saying. I remember going down there. I'm doing handstands on the subway and shit because I was so happy. Not for real. Literally doing handstands on the subway, so happy that I'm going to Rick Rubin called me this,
That's dope as
you know.
hell, dude.
So I went down, and I remember Rick walked downstairs to the dorm, and when he came down in the dorm, I said, yo, Rick? He said, yeah. I said, oh, I thought you was black. He said, cool. Then we went upstairs.
I love it.
And we started working on demos, and the rest is history. We made this thing called Catch This Break, this demo. And when we made this demo called Catch This Break, we immediately, as soon as we were done, went across town. It was like Midtown somewhere, and got with Russell Simmons and played it for him. And Russell was like, it's the same old thing. Church Street Cry, same old thing. Rick was like, really? So me and Rick went back in the studio and made this joint called I Need a Beat. Russell heard it, and they decided to start the label Def Jam. And once they started the label Def Jam, I was the label Def Jam, not the production company, which Tila Rock was on, but the label. I was the first artist on the label, and you know, the rest is history.
Yeah, for real.
You know what I'm saying?
I Need My Radio.
So-
Yeah, radio
That's the
came out.
first
Yep,
one,
that's my
yeah.
first album. Yep,
Fuck, man. You were 16?
16 years old, man.
Wow.
16.
Oh, wait, so
Yep.
Dick, tell me this. When did your... We're going to have to go back to the celebrity, but when did your family tell you about your family, your famous family?
Oh, the boxing. So what happened was, I went to everybody knows Finding Your Roots is this
Yeah,
show
yeah.
with Henry Louis Gates. You know
Yeah,
Professor
I know.
Gates, and you know, I just
I'm scared going that
No,
show.
you
see
gotta
my
go. You
stuff.
gotta go.
God.
No,
That'd
you
be
gotta
amazing
go
for you, Mike.
Mike. You
That'd be
gotta
amazing,
go.
yeah.
It's amazing. And shout out to Skip Gates, Professor Gates. Love you, man. So I went, you know, just normal thing, and I'm thinking, okay, we're gonna find out because you know, my mother's
I'm
from
a
here.
slave, I'm a slave, nigga.
I'm gonna find out all the normal stuff. So we go in, and you know, he does the research, and then he calls me up, and he's like, "Well, where was your father? Where's your mother from? Where's your And it turns out, push come to make a long story short, my mother was actually adopted, and we didn't know. So then I'm like, okay. Then we find out that my real family, you know, half of the family weren't slaves. They, you know, it got free and were free, and then the other, and then he started digging deeper and finding out all of this information about my boxing family, my history. Like I had always loved boxing from, you know, I mean, just naturally. My second album cover, I'm hitting a heavy bag, like in '87. Like I've always loved it. Like this is not like an act. It's not like, oh, you know. This
Yeah.
is real.
It's
Like
in your
yeah,
DNA.
yeah, the boxing thing is real for me. Like I really love it and enjoy it for real.
Yeah.
I like the spirit of it. You know, I don't think it's about being tough. It's about the spirit. You know what I'm saying? Boxing is a spirit. The toughness comes out.
Tough guys don't do good in boxing.
Exactly. That's my point.
Yeah,
it's
tough
the
guys don't
spirit.
do good in boxing.
It's the spirit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Boxing, fighting spirit.
It's the spirit. So I like, you know, I always loved that about it. And come to find out that, you know, my grandfather was a boxer, Nathaniel Christie Lewis, and his my uncle is actually the first black light heavyweight champion in America. Period. John Henry Lewis, first ever lineal champion, light heavyweight champion, not just a belt holder, like a lineal light heavyweight champion, first black lineal light heavyweight champion, and then through John Henry Lewis, and he, you know, found out in my new family my family I didn't know about. Tom Molyneux is another ancestor who was a bare knuckle champion as well.
Tom Knuckle, because you won't, I'll tell him who he was.
Tell him about him. Tell him about him.
Amazing.
I mean, Tom Molyneux.
I might start crying.
Yeah, he got his freedom. Yeah. I mean, tell him, Mike.
No, amazing.
Tom Molyneux, probably in the 1890s it was, against the 1800s.
Earlier than
1800s, 1790s or something, right?
Yeah.
He was the best slave fighter in America. Nobody in America on the slave plantation could beat him.
Yeah.
And he won his freedom, but you don't understand it. People won their freedom. He won his freedom. His owner gave him $500 in 1700s, late 1700s. Can you imagine $500?
Yeah, and that's why, you know, when you look at the history, that's why my mother's side of the family, there's no slavery. There's no history of slavery because Thomas Molyneux got us free. You know what I'm saying? So, and he went to England.
And after that, let me continue.
Yeah, go ahead.
And after that, he beat all the slaves. He can't fight slaves no more. He's not a slave no more. Yeah. So he beat all the American free fighters. He beat them all. He's the first slave that could beat everybody in the country. Nigga, you don't know how deep I'm going to go deep. Yeah. The slave, nigga, he's the slave.
Yeah.
He sleeps on the floor. He could beat every man in a fair fight in America.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, and going through my Uncle John Henry.
So they called for him to come to all over. He beat everybody in Australia. He beat everybody. So they come for him to beat the greatest fighter they've known since the beginning of England. His name is Tom Cribb, right?
Yep.
The greatest fighter. This is what he don't know. I'm going to blow everybody. Napoleon bet a bunch of money on his uncle, his great uncle. Napoleon was a slave master who hates blacks, don't believe in Black Republic. He bet around a couple of $1,000 on your great uncle.
That's crazy.
To beat Cribb. So he
Napoleon Bonaparte.
Yes. So he's in there. He's handling Cribb with no problem. So he's beating Cribb. The English people are getting worried. They crack him over here with an iron pipe.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they let Cribb beat him, and they don't stop the fight.
Yeah,
they're doing it wide open. It's open. It's not nothing like shh. It's wide open. He's a black man. He's a black man. He has no rights. He's going to beat the greatest fighter of our era?
Thomas Cribb.
No way.
Yeah.
We're going to stop him.
And they got sketches of this too. This actual event. There's actually short
and
stories.
It's not me. It's them. They're the ones that wrote it. So it's not me being favoritism towards the black guys. Yeah. So they wrote it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just going by from what they said.
You can Google it.
I'm gonna pull it up.
And from that, right, he was so depressed he turned into an alcoholic and stuff.
Yeah. He died in Ireland. He died in Ireland
after having a bunch of kids and stuff.
Very young. Yeah. You know, and knowing that through my Uncle John Henry. Yeah, that's him right there. That's Thomas Molyneux.
He's gave so much inspiration for fighters from that time on and generals and stuff like that.
It's amazing.
It's awesome.
It's unbelievable.
So many people asked me to play him before. I've been asked so many times. That's why I wanted to play.
You could totally play him,
some
bro.
people in England asked me to play this guy, and I'm standing, and that's before I knew he was your cousin. And then Dennis told me about it before.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I said, that's LL Cool J relative. He said that'd be an awesome story, Tom Molyneux.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That'd be an incredible story. This is Tom Molyneux right here.
Yeah, Tom Molyneux.
It's so amazing.
And then you go from him, you go to my Uncle John Henry, my grandfather, John Henry,
John Henry Lewis.
He
light
actually,
heavyweight champion.
John Henry Lewis, he never lost a light heavyweight title fight. He only lost to Joe Louis. And Joe Louis knocked him out. And he was going blind.
He did it for money.
He did it for money. Exactly.
Joe Louis was his friend.
Exactly.
Yeah. But did you know that?
Knows all the
but he didn't know that.
Exactly.
You didn't know this guy was a lady killer in the 30s, did you?
Well, I would assume so.
Did you know that? Nobody in your family told that?
Nah, they didn't tell me about that. He looks just like my mother in the picture on the lower right hand corner. He looks just like my mother. Yeah, that right there looks so much like my mother. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's my uncle. That's my uncle, man.
Look, he got your eyes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy, right?
Yep. Yeah.
That's so
But
interesting.
Al, look, you still got the health mentality. That's going
Yeah.
through the family bloodline. You're conscious of your health, conscious
Amen.
of looking. He was a fine dressing motherfucker. You didn't know that either.
No,
did
I
you?
didn't know that.
Oh, get him dressed up. Try to find him in dress clothes. He was
Yeah, yeah.
beautiful. All the women loved him back then.
Yeah, John
Doggy
Henry.
Dandridge, they all noticed him. He was loved. Oh, man, look at him right there with
Cute out
Joe.
there.
Look at his cashmere coat. Look at him right here.
Yeah.
Look at him
He was
right Al
fresh.
Gainer.
That
Look
boy
how
was
he's dressed.
fresh.
Look how beautiful he is.
Yeah,
Waves
that boy
and
was
shit.
fresh. That boy was fresh. That's him. Look at the one with him winking. Go back up. Go back up. Go with the one with him winking right there. Look at him winking.
Right here, yeah. No, go down some more too. I know this must make you proud.
Yeah,
Look
it
at
does,
this guy.
man. It does.
Yeah.
Man.
Look at him right there. He's
Yeah,
probably,
yeah. Yep, on his way overseas.
he's probably going. He's on a boat right
Yeah,
now.
he's on his way overseas. Yep.
He fought Jim Bradley. He fought all the great fighters. Maxie Rosenbaum, great fighters.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
fought them all, beat them all.
Yep. This is my uncle, man. And finding this out was the craziest thing in the world because, I had no idea, man. I just always loved the spirit of the boxing, and the spirit. That's why I made Mama Said Knock You Out and all these records. I always just loved that vibe. And then to discover this was like, Mom, I love the screen. This shit is crazy. Like right here, right now.
Yeah,
Pull
brother.
stuff up.
That's how we do
Look
shit
at
here,
him, man. Look at him, man.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. That's amazing history
Yeah, it is, man.
and lineage. You know?
I want to shout it out to the whole Lewis family, my Aunt Joan
Absolutely.
and everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Everybody.
Did you get to, after you found out all this, did you get to connect with some of these people?
Oh yeah. I connected with everybody.
That's awesome.
Connected with everybody. My Aunt Joan, she was like actually one of the first female Black Panthers. You know what
Yeah?
I'm
Wow.
saying? Yeah. She was female recruit. You know what I'm saying? As a young girl, as a young 15, 16-year-old girl, first people to go out there and give out school
But
lunches
Dick,
for them and
peep
stuff
gang.
like that.
Peep gang. This is what I noticed too. Cause this is before I even met you. And how did they end up in Los Angeles? Were they originated? They were born in Los Angeles. How
Well,
did
they
get to Los
came from
Angeles?
Ohio.
Really?
They came from Ohio
That's where
and
they
ended
came
up in the
from?
Bay Area.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? They
I
did
was
some
wondering,
stuff in
I
Arizona.
thought he was in Snow. How did he get in Seattle? They were in Seattle for a while. How did they get over
That
there?
I don't know about. I
He
know
was
that
in
they were
Seattle for a while.
they were in Arizona, they were in Ohio, and then ended up in the Bay Area. Seattle, I don't know about. but I
Get where
know-
he's from. Where he
Yeah.
come from.
Yeah.
I know he was in Seattle for a while.
Yeah.
What's his name?
It says Berkeley.
Yeah.
Berkeley,
Yeah,
California.
they ended up in the Bay Area.
Oh,
yeah.
born in Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Yeah, in Arizona. That's what I meant.
Phoenix,
Yeah,
that's right.
Arizona.
It's Arizona.
Yeah, they went from Arizona, did some stuff in Ohio, and ended up in the Bay Area. Yeah. Yep. And look, 117 fights. That's a lot of fights, man.
No,
That's insane.
That's not.
100
They don't
wins.
have it all. That's the fights that they counted.
Wow. Yeah,
Those are
yeah.
the fights
yeah,
that they
yeah.
counted.
Yeah.
You know, that's all. They fucked up a lot on the numbers and stuff back then.
Yeah.
He ain't even caught by his
I can't
amateur
find
fight.
no footage of him fighting.
Yeah, none.
None. I can't
It
find
gotta
it.
be him fighting who? Tommy McLaughlin.
It's gotta
Tommy
be.
Lonigan.
Yo, it's
He
gotta
have
be.
fun.
The only footage you see is
Joe
him getting
Louis.
beat by Joe Lewis, and that's
That's when he's an old man. He's sick and shit. That's
that's the only fight that I find everywhere.
I saw a fight on him. Gotta be a fight of him. I saw him fighting before.
But you used to have all
Yeah,
those
the
films,
collectors,
right?
yeah.
Do you have any of that stuff?
No, I don't have that stuff now. But gotta be on this thing.
Yeah, he was a beast, man. He was a
Master
beast.
boxer, smooth boxer.
Yeah.
Master boxer.
Yeah, orthodox
Yeah.
stance. You know what I'm saying?
He fought
Orthodox
everybody.
stance.
He fought everybody.
Yeah, he was
amazing,
sharp.
dude.
I love. I just think boxing in general. When I go back to when I think about Jack Johnson and I think about all of the guys, what he did. Even Jack Johnson. I mean, you got to really respect the craft. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to respect that craft. Like you think about all of the different guys that he fought. Willard, was it Jess Willard?
Jess Willard.
Yeah.
But he fought Jess Willard. He fought what's the guy? Jim Jeffries.
Jim Jeffries. That's the
Yeah.
guy he took the title from,
No,
right?
that was the greatest champion of all time before Johnson came on the scene. He was champion for 6 years.
Yeah.
Beat everybody undefeated.
And then they brought him
retired.
back.
He
And they-
retired and Johnson won the title and he brought him back.
And he beat him.
And he beat him in 15 rounds.
He beat him. Yeah, it was I think about Sugar Ray Robinson. I think about, even like guys like Max Baer. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Jewish champion. You know what I'm saying? He was killing guys in the ring. Tough
Yeah,
guy.
but he wasn't a good fighter. He was just a big, strong guy. Punch
Yeah.
like hell.
Yeah.
But then you run in with the master. You run in there with guys that you can't hit. Fuck.
Yeah.
It's like fighting a god. You can't, a ghost.
Yeah, you
It's
can't hit him.
beautiful. Fuck. You're like, fuck. You hit hard,
But you can't hit him.
but you can't hit him. He's a human being. He got a body. He's big. Why can't I hit him? You can't even kick him. If you were allowed to kick, you couldn't hit him.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think about the boxing, man. There's something about that craft, and all the different types of styles. The head movement, the people that are good with the torso, the people with footwork, the complete fighters like Sugar Ray who can do footwork and upper body work. Sugar Ray, Robinson would throw left to the body, left to the body, and then fake a left to the body. Boom, you get caught with a hook. You know what I'm saying?
But then sometimes you run into some guys, and then you're just cool and you're hitting them, boom, 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 and they're just looking at you.
Yeah.
And they're coming back.
Yeah.
After you hit him?
No, you didn't hit him. You hit him with everything.
Yeah.
And they're like, fuck. Yeah.
That's when you got to say to yourself, I'm going after points.
Yes.
That's when you got to say, I'm pointing.
Let me think.
Because I'll be because you'll drain yourself.
Yes.
You'll drain yourself. You'll drain yourself.
This is going the distance. We're going the distance in this one.
Yeah.
That's why fighting Ali. No one. I know when they fought Ali, no one went in there thinking for going for a knockout. We know we going 15 rounds.
Yeah, the only one who tried to do that was Frazier.
Frazier hated him. He wanted to knock him out.
And Frazier, that's why Frazier would, at the end of, even though Muhammad was tired too, Frazier was like that because Frazier was always trying to kill him. He's trying to kill something. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck.
Yo, Frazier.
Ali's a monster.
Yeah, but Ali was a monster too, no doubt. But Frazier was something else too. Like when you see
Ali pushed Ali to that limit, man. The elevation of just where you don't feel anything, where you transcend, when you're outside your body and you're just fighting.
And that's a prime example of styles making fights, because when you think about Frazier and then you think about Foreman and then you think about Ali, that's a prime example of styles making fights.
Dig, right? Foreman a knockout. Frazier, Norton, 10 times out of 10 times they fight, right? Frazier and Norton will fight Ali. They give him life-to-death fights. Ali almost having a heart attack, right?
Yep.
Foreman fights with Ali. Ali kills him, right?
Exactly.
These guys fight with Ali. They give Ali a heart attack.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
It's a prime example of styles make fights. Prime example. You know what I'm saying? That really matters.
Yeah.
It's how your bodies lock in. It's almost like, I don't mean to be weird, but it's almost like sex. You know what I'm saying? Like you get with a certain girl, there's a connection there that's different.
Listen,
you know what I mean?
This one, someone told me all pussy the same. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. All pussy's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, my father used to tell, you bend it over, it all looks the same. He's crazy.
It's not
He's
true.
crazy.
What kind of people were they?
Yeah.
What kind of cold people were they?
My father was crazy. May he rest in peace. He was funny with that.
I think men said that back then, the hard men, for the reason they didn't want us to know that they lost to the pussy.
Exactly.
So they stayed tough. But it's all the same. It's all the same, but why? Is it all the same? Why did I stick with this one? If it's all the same, why did I stick with this one? Why am I not going out there fucking them all? Because that's what you do. When you believe they're all the same, you're fucking everything. And then when you see something, no, this is not the same, motherfucker.
If it's all the same, why you in love?
Yeah, why you here? Why you stay here, nigga?
Why you in love then?
It's so true.
So everybody that goes with that kind of idea in life, they're going to lose in relationships. It's all the same. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, we all submit to it. We all submit to it.
Well, that's a choice.
It's called humanity.
That's true.
We all submit to humanity.
That's true.
And any man that's not afraid of that wife not living their life right.
Yeah.
You can't be living your life if you're not afraid of her. If you're not afraid of your wife, if you're not living your life right.
No, I'm living fairly right, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess it's all relative.
Yeah.
So when she goes in that door and she's not feeling well, whoa. The house is fucked up.
That's true.
The house is fucked up.
Yeah.
If I come in the house not feeling well, she'll talk to me and we can take care of that. But the house, when they're messed up, you can't talk to them.
Yeah.
You got to do shit to make them happy.
Yeah. You have kids?
Yeah, I got four kids.
You have teenagers?
Yeah. My kids are older. My kids are from
20 and 28.
From down to 18. Yeah, I have 4 kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
What is it like? Do they have kids? Anything yet?
My daughter does. My daughter.
What's that
my
like
eldest
having
daughter.
It's
amazing. Yeah, it's amazing.
I'm waiting for that day. I want that day to happen.
It's amazing, man, because you think about lineage, you think about legacy. You know what I'm saying? You think about plus. It doesn't mean that you can't continue to maximize your potential. You know what I'm saying? So it's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you start off like I did. I had my son was born when I damn near at the beginning of my career. You know what I'm saying? So my kids have two of my kids
That's
kind of
kind of awesome, though.
Yeah, they grew up with
Awesome.
with my career. You know what I'm saying? I had kids early. You know what I'm saying? And they grew up with me. So it's like, not grew up with me, but grew up with my career.
Yes.
So it's been, it's amazing. I'm grateful. You know what I mean? I'm grateful, man. Very
Like I look at
thankful.
all
Love
the
my
great
kids.
successful families.
Love my kids.
Even in some biblical time, but ancient time as well. They always had a lot of kids because they always look at the synopsis of the what can go wrong, what will go wrong. People will die. People will go to war. People will get sick. So we have to have a lot of kids.
Yeah,
the crisis, we might be Jewish, we might be black, they'll kill us. So we have to make sure we have a lot of kids.
Well, you want to look. I always see the positives and I always see positive energy, but I definitely wanted to, have a family. I think that, part of being a man is making sure that you have that lineage and you can, you can provide not just financially, but you can provide emotionally, spiritually, and then at the same time you can bring strength and integrity and power to your family as well, and teach them to be greater than they even think is possible, and instill in them the belief that they can do anything they put their minds to. You know what I'm saying? That's part of manhood. Part of being a real man is, not just taking care of your family, but instilling the values and that spirit in your kids that tells them that they can take their lives to the highest levels possible. You know what I'm saying? That's part of being a real man.
What do you tell your kids? Tell me this. What do you tell your kids when your kids see on television all these fucking white cops are killing black kids? What do you tell them? How do you confront? How do you tell your kids? Why are they killing us, Daddy? What did we do wrong, Daddy?
Well, my kids are a little older, so I haven't had to have that conversation. But my thing is this: look, the majority of that is hate and fear based.
Do you tell them who they are?
Oh, without a doubt.
They have to know
queens.
who they are?
Yes, they're kings and queens, and they got to love themselves, and you got to be proud to be who you are. Like, I'm very proud to be a black man. Like, I'm not shying away from that. I'm not trying to be anything other than that. You know what I'm saying? When I walk in the room, I'm a black man. At the same time, I'm not going to be defined by that. In other words, like, I don't see a white guy and say, okay, well, there's an automatic separation, but I know who I am. And I'm proud of who I am. You know
I was
what I'm saying?
taught my consciousness supersedes my color. Someone told me.
Well, without a doubt, and your character, right? Yeah. Martin Luther King talked about that, and your spirit. Spirit is beyond all of that. But when you talk on an earthly level, you got to know who you are, and you got to know your identity, and you got to be willing to handle that straight up. So what I would say when I think about what's going on with the police and the bad cops, you know what I'm saying? Not all of them, but the bad ones that are doing that, that's fear and hate. You know what I'm saying? You got some people that are so concerned with. They just believe that they're dying. They believe that they're going away. They believe that they don't have a future. So they want to stop others. You know what I'm saying?
I believe that.
You know what I mean?
I believe that.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, the whole idea of...
peep game, right? I watch YouTube a lot. I'm a junkie, right? So I watch YouTube and I notice this cop comes over. He pulls this black kid over. He pulls him out, smacks him, throws him in the fucking car, right?
Right.
I'm thinking this is just a racist ass cracker, right?
Right.
That's cool. I'm accustomed to that. This is interesting. This is show business. I'm watching this. He smacks him, but he still looks around. He's got the guy in the car, but another car comes out. He goes in the car. He grabs the car. The young white girl. He grabs out. He smacks. Then he grabs the black guy. Get the fuck out. And he said, "What? It's his daughter."
Oh wow.
It's his daughter. So I'm like, whoa, right?
Wow.
And I'm saying that's the biggest fear.
Well, yeah, of course. Well, that's the whole idea, right? Like, I mean, let's be real. The real story that no one's talking about with the like the abortion thing. Like, I believe women should have the right to choose what they want.
Time.
But let me tell
Absolutely.
you, but the women should definitely have. Look, it's her body. Let her choose what she wants, right?
Yeah.
If I was a woman, you're gonna tell me to have your baby, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You crazy? But that being said, I think that's really about what that's really about is white supremacy. It's like a belief that our race is going to go away if we let these women have abortions.
Listen,
know what I'm saying?
check this out. This is interesting.
Exactly.
So hopefully a whole bunch of brothers don't go running down to Alabama.
No, listen.
Let's go get some white girls in Alabama.
do it.
That's not. Listen, no, that's
Do
not.
it. Especially the congressman.
That's not going to
Yeah.
happen. That's
Yeah.
not going to happen. No, what's going to happen? They're going to come up here and say, "No, we need some black men." Because the fact is, why do they have in the white neighborhoods they have these drugs to make you have baby? What's that called again?
Plan B?
No, to give you baby, to inject you with
fertility drugs.
fertility
Oh,
drugs.
yeah,
And
yeah.
in black neighborhoods they have Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
They don't have Planned Parenthood in Beverly Hills. Are you fucking crazy?
Right.
That's interesting.
No, it's just in Monaco,
Yeah.
France. They don't have it out there. Planned
Right.
Parenthood. They want to have babies because the rate is decreasing.
Right.
You know what? And minorities multiply like rabbits. These guys are dying with disease, AIDS, syphilis, and they have fucking babies all day, every day.
Well, I think
you know what I mean.
You know what?
So you see what I'm saying? These people are sick and having babies. These people are healthy and can't have babies.
No, I think it's exactly what you guys are saying.
How you think we get all these diseases in our community?
But I think
stop babies.
But I think the key though, the whole thing is at the end of the day, it's just fear. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day,
we all have fear.
It's fear.
This is a fear-based world.
But that particular thing is you have people that are making decisions based in fear. We all have fears, but the difference is when you're courageous, you have fear and you move forward anyway, right? Because you're courageous. So even though you feel the fear, you can move forward. Whereas you have some people that are making their decisions based on fear.
Yes.
And when they make their decisions based on fear, that creates situations like, women aren't allowed to have abortions and, and a disregard for the female spirit.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? So I think that whole, white supremacy thing is kind of fueling that. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of fueling that underneath. Yeah. And it's not something that anybody's ever probably going to admit unless you go to some certain websites on the online. They're not going to admit it, but I feel like that's fueling it.
White supremacy has such an effect on us. Since we bring it up, that has such an effect on us. White supremacy. It has such an effect on us that we think in a white supremacist perspective.
I know what you mean.
Right,
well, if you've been programmed.
Well, we are programmed. We're programmed. So right now, I don't care how conscious you mean, we're programmed. We are dumb.
You gotta break it down.
Yes.
That's why
we are dumb. We are dumb. Don't think we ain't these Europeans.
That's why when the Bible says, be ye strengthened by the renewing of your mind, and you can even say that reading the Bible is programming. And yes, we are programmed, but the thing is, what kind of mind do you have? Do you have a mind that can go outside of the normal paradigms? Do you have a mind that can break out beyond whatever parameters that have been set for you so that you can see things differently? Because it's the whole idea of like deja vu is seeing something that something new that seems familiar, and then there's vujade, right? Seeing something familiar in a new way. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is that, so what we have to do is we have to look. You got to see things, familiar things in a new way. So there's their programming. There's the people that want to teach you to hate yourself, self-hate.
Exactly.
People but you got to see things in a new way, familiar things in a new way, so you can go beyond that. You know what I mean?
I look at this is what I think when you say I look at this. I think this like I might be a weird nigga. I go like this, right? I was doing some research on this guy. What was his name? He was down with he was Dumas. He was down with Napoleon.
Alexander Dumas, the Black General.
Yeah, he was
the
down
Black
with,
Count.
Yeah, he was down with Dumas, but he was down with Napoleon, but he was down with Louis XIII first before he died. They killed him and his wife. What was her name again? Antoinette.
Yeah, Marie Antoinette.
He was down with that crew too. And so I said, wow, this is interesting. A black motherfucker was down with Napoleon and these guys. And his history, his history of his family, he's a Haitian guy originally.
Yeah.
But the thing is, right, I said, well, I'm interested. I want to know about this guy. So I look at him. I come down to the 30s and the 40s, his families are in the Olympics for fencing. They're no longer Dumases, their name are Oppenheimers.
And you know what's even deeper? His son ended up being a writer.
Oh, that's old stuff. Yeah. He had three sons. One was a writer, one was a play art.
Yeah.
Frith, it was Alexander Dumas Frith, and I think it was Alexander Dumas maybe Junior, but it was 3 or 4 of them.
The son was
very famous.
One of the
family.
sons was the one who wrote all the plays, Alexander Dumas. Yeah. But the father, he was the Black Count. He was a general in Napoleon's
army. The Count of Monte Cristo is his story.
It's based on him.
It's based on his dad?
The Black Count. There's a book out called The Black Count that really talks about Alexander Dumas, the general.
I read that book.
And I read it too. It was the Black Count, and it's an unbelievable story about this guy who was a general. A black general in Napoleon's army, and when I say a general, he had a whole division, and he was like unbelievable, and he'd rush into battle with a sword and fuck everybody up, and he was he was smart too.
Now you say that though, but then you go down history and we get back into the 20th century. Now his family are in the Olympics and they're fencers.
Right.
Isn't that a trip?
That is.
And the bloodline. He's a general with a sword, leading with a sword. Now the fencing champions in the Olympics.
Yeah. He was.
I hope someone want to be on the show. I hope someone hear me calling the Oppenheimer family that related to him, the Dumas family. I wish they hear me on my iPod and come down.
Yeah.
And
he
join.
got put in prison towards the end too. They betrayed him.
Oh yeah, Napoleon betrayed him.
Yeah,
really.
He was jealous. He was jealous of him. He was jealous of the Haitian revolutionaries too.
Yeah.
Dessalines and what's the Toussaint L'Ouverture. He was so jealous of him. He was such a little small guy, and they were so massive.
Yeah.
Vitality. He was so jealous of them.
Toussaint Louverture was very crafty and clever.
Yes.
He was very clever and crafty.
But he made a mistake by trusting his white slave masters. That's one thing he would never hurt them. And there was this guy named Sertonix that was saying he was a white guy, but he said kill all the whites, and he wouldn't do that. He liked the white people that treated him nice. He wouldn't kill them. And Sertonix said you're going to pay for that. So Napoleon had, I want to have a meeting with you. So he got on the boat to go have a meeting, and they lied and they put him in chains and he starved him to death.
And one of the worst mistakes, the worst mistake you can make, and I always tell my team this, the worst mistake you can make is one from kindness.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
That's the worst. The worst mistake you can make is one out of kindness, trying to be nice. Because if you didn't know, if you're ignorant, that's one thing. If you're stupid, that's one thing. If they fool you, that's another thing. But to make a mistake trying to be nice, shit.
Yeah.
Shit. There's nothing worse than that.
That's the worst.
Yo, make a mistake out of kindness.
Sure. Peace comes. War dictates peace.
Yeah, it does.
It's always been that. War is going to dictate peace.
It does. It does. And now here's the thing though. War does it can definitely set up peace, but it doesn't necessarily always have to be physical war. Sometimes it can be psychological and mental, but war does precede peace.
It's the war we going on right now. It's scary because right now minorities are starting to figure things out with this stuff.
Yeah, with the internet.
We're starting to figure things out. We're starting to figure out how we got here, who we were. If you ever do the history of what are those women called mulatto women? If you do, you become a bitter motherfucker. And really know the history of mulatto women and what they did in New Orleans and how they treated them and what they did.
Creole women.
Yeah, and how these people had families. And when it was time to have their fucking, they had their orgy balls and stuff, you have to leave your family and go and participate in the orgy ball. You know?
Yeah.
And then go back to your husband and your family like nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
dark.
Yeah,
no, but
power dictates the rules, man.
Exactly. And that's why the world is really frightening now because we're getting the consciousness of power. It's getting ready to change. We change in the listen, we're getting ready to change the way we eat food. The way we eat food is about to change. The way we smoke cigarettes are about to change. You know what I mean? We're going to live longer, and that's going to be even frightening. More frightening.
For some.
Yeah.
For some.
The power of the bee is going to be more frightening unless they control the people that's living longer.
But look, at the end of the day, there is room for, I think, certain forms of reconciliation and love. Love is a key factor in all of this, right? Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you put love in there and you're going to love your way through a war. I'm just saying that love has a place. You know what I'm saying? And it's not only about division. It's not only about fear. It's about faith. It's about believing in yourself. It's about seeing the beauty and the character of other people too, because we always must remember that even with everything that we're talking about, there are always people on both sides that are trying to come together. It's not always a bunch of people trying to separate themselves from each other. There's always people on the other side who are saying, you know what, I love you the same way you love me, and we have to remember that, because if not, we'll speak division into our world, and it would only end up crumbling into a seeping pool of negativity.
How do you define love, though, in that perspective?
I think love, it's funny, it's that old saying, right? Like if you're in the desert, love is water, right? If you're on a freezing mountaintop, love is heat. Love is the appropriate response, you know what I'm saying? But it's, there's a difference between, it's not always romantic love and it's not always nice love. I'll give you an example. If you're in the Civil War and you know the level of medicine, love is sawing a guy's leg off. Because, by sawing your leg off, I'm giving you the best chance to live. Yeah. So love is not always pleasant, but love is a real thing. Love is real. It's not always pleasant, but love is appropriate. Love is the appropriate response in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Love could be, doing away with one enemy for the greater good of our society. Love can be many things, That's what love is. So
why is it called love, you think?
Well, I think those are just English words, right? Those are terms. I mean, you get back to, there's all kind of love. You go back to the ancient Greek and you have like different forms of love that they talk about: romantic love, love between family love, but there's different, I think, terms. Like you can make finer distinctions in the category of love, but ultimately, love is what's needed. You know what I'm saying?
It's total commitment. Yeah. Pretty much.
It is. It's total commitment to the appropriate and necessary thing, whatever that thing is. I think at the moment,
total commitment.
I think that's what love is.
Total commitment.
There's an ineffability of the energy of it. of the power. It's something you can't really put into words.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
What you're talking about, Al, what I'm talking, love, the love that can carry people through a war, the love that can...
Love of country.
Love of country.
Love of family.
What you're doing. Love of yourself.
Well, it goes back to that, and just to flip it, but it goes back to, I don't know, it was a courtroom proceeding, and someone had asked this judge, he said, it's like kind of like porn. You can't really describe it, but you know it when you see it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know it when you see it.
Yeah.
So love, you know it when you see it. If we're in a war and our technological advancements have taken us to a certain level and we're in the Civil War times and I saw your leg off, you know it's love because you know what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
But
you know what I'm saying?
Listen, but even that, when you say, I know when I see it, they used to do porn in Roman times. Porn was fucking open in the street. You could screw your slave in the street. You could have sex with your wife, with a man. You could do anything in the street.
How is anybody getting anything done?
Yeah, how is that? Because time didn't exist. Time is made by men. It was just life. We're living life.
Well, there's different types of time, right? There's kairos. There's an appointed time. There's all kinds of time.
Time had to be made to create civilization. Before it was just madness.
Well, you know what's funny about time?
Yeah.
Einstein said that the only reason that we have time is so everything doesn't happen at once. And I thought that was a very interesting way of looking at it. Because if there was no time, everything would happen at once. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was interesting. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
Time is perspective and perception.
That's true.
You
That's
know?
absolutely. Because what did they say? If you're holding your favorite woman, time moves really quickly. But if you put your hand on a hot frying pan,
like
time
forever.
feels like forever.
Yeah.
So time is relative, and there is a certain you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, the relativity of it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, time is so interesting. I mean, it's really just the flow of our consciousness that we've had to put something to.
Yeah.
Listen, when I took the toll, there's no time, there's no space in
Yeah,
there.
the DMT, right? You took the DMT.
Yeah, when you take there's no time, there's no space, you're just there. And the shit just happening that you're feeling. You ever hear about the toll? Oh God, I'm dying. Fuck. You don't exist, but you do. You do, but you don't. Dying has to be glorious, because life is glorious. So life couldn't be glorious if death wasn't glorious. I experienced it in
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, I heard about that. I heard about that DMT. I heard that's...
It's really enlightening.
Yeah, you found out there's nothing there, right? Like you found out you're nothing. You got
I'm
stripped
nothing.
away.
I found out. I don't know if I'm a bitch or not when you strip your ego. But you're scared. You don't see anything. You're not afraid nothing to get you scared. But you're scared. Without your ego, you're a fucking bitch. What's happening? I'm dead.
Unless
I'm
you
fucking
get
dead.
unless
I'm
you
dead.
get past to that, unless you get beyond it to the actual spirit.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
the spirit has no fear.
No,
Yeah.
listen.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll give you an example. How many times when you were fighting and you Iron Mike. Let's be real. You Iron Mike. Men fear you all over the planet. But how many times were you afraid in the ring when you went in
Every
there?
time.
Right. So, but you know what? You fought anyway.
Yeah.
And when you got past the ego and the front back to the spirit, then you were strong again. You see what I'm saying?
No doubt
so
about
the spirit gives you that. The spirit is what you want to tap into. The spirit is what you want to pay attention to.
Exactly,
Absolutely.
because some people have
You know what I'm
different
saying?
experiences than me. They go on journeys. I'm so afraid.
Yeah.
And they just go so fast.
Yeah, I've been hearing about the DMT.
But once you brother, it's for people like you.
Yeah.
It's for people like you. It puts you in your highest form of elevation as far as
Yeah.
thought concerned.
Yeah.
You look at people and you look at yourself totally different.
Yeah.
You know there's a God. You don't know his name.
Yeah.
But you know something that's worthy of praise.
Yeah, I just don't want to wake up with, all leather on with the red ball in my mouth and shit.
nigga.
Talking about, did you like that shit? Wake up with a fucking red fucking Pulp Fiction.
You're going to have to humble yourself because you're going
Yeah.
to believe you're a God after that.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to control yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
That's powerful.
You're going to say, whoa.
Yeah.
Everything I thought my whole life was a fucking lie.
Yeah. Now I feel you. I feel
that could be frayed. That could be frightening. You might love the way your life is now and say, wow.
Nah,
this is
you
all bullshit.
listen. If
That's
I could
not what it
unplug
is.
from the Matrix, baby, I'm with it.
If
I could unplug me, baby.
It's unplugged. It does
Yeah, if I could unplug from the Matrix, by all means, I accept
it
it.
lets you know that things are bigger than you. And we're absolutely nothing.
I love that.
We're nothing.
I'm all for that. That I'm all for. You know what I mean?
Oh, I think you're already unplugged, dude. You look like
he's
you're about
conscious of it.
35.
Thanks, man.
Dude, you've taken great care of yourself, right?
Thank you.
over the
I
years.
feel good. Yeah.
Health, fitness, always been a big
Why
part
you
of your
never did a
life.
program?
You know what?
Never thought about
done
that?
some workout videos, right?
I have a couple of books out there. I have
Books.
a couple of books, Platinum Workout, and I have Platinum 360, 2 workout books that are out there.
That's awesome.
And,
Imagine if they saw you on this beautiful screen. Your
I know.
Body pumping and shit.
I'm actually been
Money,
thinking
nigga.
about that. I have some
Money,
I'm thinking
nigga.
about getting, maybe opening up some gyms at a certain
No.
point. I've been thinking about that and considering that. So
That's
people
who
should
you
stay
are.
tuned
That's
for
who
that.
you are, man. You be
Yeah.
fucking the women that come there in droves, and the guys gonna come for the. It's
Yeah.
gonna be crazy.
Dude, my college
It'll be
strength
crazy.
coach
It'll
went
be
to
crazy.
Arizona, played football. He used to have us do the LL med ball abs.
Oh yeah.
Where
Absolutely.
you start on your back,
Yeah,
you do
yeah.
a med ball sit up to
And then
stand
stand
in.
up. Absolutely.
We used to do those like fucking
They work.
crazy.
They
Hell
work.
yeah, they work.
They work.
They
They
get
work.
the core solid.
Absolutely. You have to have a strong core.
Yeah.
You got to have a strong
Yeah,
core
without
because
calling nothing, can't
for
do
you to be
anything.
the best you could be, you want to maximize your potential, right?
Yeah.
And you obviously you know about it. You're a fit guy, and obviously Mike. I mean,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
goes without saying. So you want to maximize your potential. You got to be strong. You got to be
Yeah.
the best you could possibly be. It's
Yeah.
not about like trying to be 15 or 22 forever. It's about being the best man that you could be your entire life. You know what I'm
good.
saying? That's what it's about. And being comfortable with that, too.
Yeah.
Embracing that. Not feeling like, not feeling slighted, not feeling like, oh, I'm older, but being the best you could be. You know what I'm saying? That's what I respect. When a man says, yo, I'm going to be the best me that I could
I agree with
possibly
that.
be. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Maximize your potential. Your potential.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to be your height. I don't need to be.
Yeah.
Because even though you're taller than me, I don't feel short.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got to maximize my potential.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
absolutely.
saying? And be the best me I can be.
Absolutely.
You feel what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that's what you want to do. You know what I mean?
feel that, man.
Yeah.
You talked about as a kid going to that meeting with Rick Rubin doing
Yeah.
handstands on the train.
Yeah.
So was training and working out, that was always part of your life?
It was always because, and I'll tell you the real reason. The real reason why I got into fitness, straight up and down, is because guys would come home from jail and just be huge.
Oh.
And then they'd be working out, lifting weights in the backyard, and my man Norton, and they'd be in the front yard lifting
But they
weights.
make it like it's heavy. They talking shit,
Yeah.
drinking, gambling. Why
Yeah.
they doing? They shooting the dice.
Yeah.
They hold my money.
Lift some weights.
Yeah. You're like sitting there, you're like, yo, I gotta get in shape. This seems like part of the rules.
They got nothing to do, but
Yeah.
they're on the corner all
Yeah.
day and flexing, drinking beer, flexing.
true.
It's all day.
It's true.
Yeah.
With
It's
the
true,
gold
man.
on.
Just
It's
with
true.
the bench out front?
Just bench in the front yard, baby.
I love
I'm
that.
telling you, running around with the BVD nylons on.
I'm
Then my
all
man had the
about
big chest. I used to be like, yo, I gotta get in shape. I gotta get in shape. This is crazy. Everybody's running around looking muscular. You're like, yo, I gotta get in shape. And it kind of inspires you.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
that is a positive that comes from a negative.
Yes.
Because obviously the jail culture is it's negative.
Right.
You know, anybody in jail tell you that. Anybody who's been there tell you that. It's a negative. And I came to see you
Yeah.
when you were in jail. It's a negative. I could see it in your eyes when I saw you, because we was like
that's
little kids
crazy.
together almost. And you was like, first thing you said to me is, yo, what are you doing here? Because you couldn't even associate me with coming to see you in that predicament.
That's
but I came
amazing.
to see you.
Yeah, I was happy you did it.
You know what I'm
Thank
saying? No doubt, man. No doubt.
Yeah, that's
and,
so
and
thank
so
you,
it's
man.
like, you think about it. I was like, my man is in here and I want to see him. I want to give him love, you know what I'm saying? And let him know that we still love him regardless. You know what I mean? So it's like, when I think about that there are positives that come from it too, though. Like, yo, I want to be the strongest I can be. I want to be the best I can be. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And that's what it's about. Yeah.
It's good,
Yeah.
man. It's good
Yeah.
stuff. What do you do these days, your training regimen?
Well, like yesterday was a slow day in terms of training, so I did an hour on the elliptical. You know, I did intervals. I got my heart rate elevated, but I only did an hour, and then I took a shower and rested. But then there are other days where I always do cardio and weights, and then I hit the heavy bag.
Okay.
Because, but I hit the heavy bag more for mental focus, clarity, some endurance. But you got to go all out to get tired. Because the thing about the heavy bag is it can lull you into thinking you're in shape because you pace yourself. So you need somebody to
Yeah.
put the heavy
gotta
bag.
go all out on the heavy bag.
You got to go all out on a heavy bag if you really want to be
something.
tired. Because
Yeah.
if not, you just be hitting the bag. And,
Yeah.
But so I play with the bag, lift the weights, and then get on the treadmill, do sprints. I do some elliptical. I do incline bench, obviously rows. Pull downs for back.
Yeah.
I do some upright rows. I do I do all the normal stuff that we know about.
Yeah.
It's just how you do it.
Yeah.
It's just how you do it. And I also try to make sure that I never get where I can't move.
Yeah.
I want to be able to move because a lot of guys, they have candy muscles.
Yeah.
Right, so it looks good, but it's not functional.
Yes.
And the guy has a big chest, but he can't throw punches.
the
He can't even
worst.
get his arm across his damn chest, and he's so in shape, but his candy muscles. You hit him in his chin, he'd go to sleep immediately. Well, that could be anybody, but you know what I'm saying. Like, you want to be functional. You want to have functional muscles.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I always work at it from that point of view, making sure that I have agility. I can move. I can get on the treadmill, jump off, do sprints. Maybe I put the treadmill on 11.0, and we'll go for 30 seconds. Jump off, 11.0, 30 seconds, jump off. You know what I mean? Like things like that. Or then we'll slow it down. Maybe we'll go at 8.0 at a 2 incline or a 3 incline. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Put in Sonorian long distance runners. Sonorian, I want to show you something.
Okay.
That people, they get up every day. These Mexicans, they get up every day and they run 200, 300 miles.
You talking about the Born to Run, like the Born to Run. You know about that book?
That
Born
brother,
to
no, but you see that brother that does that. I want to meet these
Sonorian.
guys. No, the Sonorian desert when these Mexicans,
Yeah.
they run like 200, 300 miles.
That's crazy. Yeah, there's a book called Born to Run that I started.
Yeah.
Dan,
that's crazy. Women, men, old men, the kids, the babies, the whole family.
Some of them do it barefoot, right?
Yeah, barefoot. Some do it with the sandals on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
I know about that.
When I used to train, I used to say, God, now how do we get in shape? And I used to read about the Greek warriors, Achilles, and all these guys, and what they did. And I read about Xenophon, the March of the 10,000. These ones would march with 10,000 to be around what, 1,700 miles, something like that. And they didn't lose
Xenophon, the
anybody.
historian.
Yeah, Xenophon, the March of the 10,000.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was saying this is how we go to shit. So I would just walk. I would walk to my gym, work out, then walk back. So that must have been 25 miles.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And you used to walk to the gym and walk
I
back?
asked them in my house in Vegas. I walk to the gym, I train, then I walk back.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I was smoking a lot too, though, but I was saying, this is what these niggas did. These niggas not better than me.
Yeah.
But my feet felt like somebody took a blowtorch and put it on. Oh, man. How did they get them? That's how they made marathon. A guy, a warrior, ran 26 point something miles, gave the message what was happening back then, and died.
What they did was the story of marathon. They actually ran the 26 point something miles, but they had to run back in order to show the. I believe it was you don't call them Indians, but the Indian empire. I forget the Persians. To show the Persians that they were back in time, so they that they couldn't, so those guys wouldn't invade the coast.
Go ahead, show about marathon. Let's get this shit down. Let's get the reality of this shit.
Yeah, that's just
Who's
crazy.
marathon?
That's crazy.
Is it the Raramuri tribe?
No, this one. No, I'm talking. Let's do the Greek one. The history of marathon.
History of marathon.
How did marathon come about?
Okay.
The runner of marathon. See, they got this nigga running, right? What was it? Philippines. Pheidippides. He's the one that died, right?
Yeah, the military victory against the Persians. But go to the actual battle of Marathon. Go when the soldiers had the march. Yeah, the battle of Marathon. Go to the battle of Marathon. Yeah. Marathon, the first Persian invasion of Greece was fought between the citizens. Exactly. The Persian force commanded by the battle's culmination first attempt by Persia, to subjugate Greece. The Greek army decisively defeated the more numerous Persian, making a turning point in the Greco-Persian war. Yeah. Exactly.
Crazy.
And they did a long march. They had to do a long march. They fought one battle, then they did a long march back to protect the coast from the Greek Navy. I mean, from the Persian Navy that was coming in. So that was a thing. I love that.
World history is off the charts.
That's my hobby. Like, that's all I love to do. Like, I love that. That's my hobby. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's dope, man.
I love that. Yo, it's funny, Mike. You like that shit too. That's funny. That's cool. Because
I
don't meet many people who are into it like that.
Where you want to go? Do you want to go to the Franks now? Want to go to Clovis?
What are you digging on these days?
Charlemagne. It's crazy.
What are you interested in right now?
Nah, I'm really interested. You know what freaks me out? That we allow indigenous people to be indigenous in this world and time. There's people that's been on the island in Senegal for over 40,000 years, and we didn't civilize them yet.
Yeah.
We didn't give them a inoculation. So now if they came here right now, they'd die because we'll breathe on them and shit.
Why?
People shouldn't live like this in this day and time. They should be nationalized.
Well, you know what? I flip. I
know.
beg to differ. I think that people should have the right to live. I think that a lot of the problems in the world have been created because people want other people to live the way they live. I think, you know what? It's mind your business.
No, we should be all civilized. No way. There should be no non-civilized people.
You think?
I mean, what is civilized? I think it's all perspective.
Yes, I look at no, it's not perspective. This is my perspective. I meet somebody and he piss and throws piss in my face. That's not civilized.
Right.
Him wanting to attack me for no reason is not civilized.
But you know what? People attack people for no reason in the name of civilization.
That's true too, but I'm talking about that's from a big perspective. That means I'm coming to conquer I'm coming to conquer your country.
And that part,
I'm talking about I'm coming to be your friend. I'm coming to civilize you to brotherhood.
But you know what? Look what happened with, you think about indigenous people. The story they've been befriended and then
we're the indigenous people.
You know why? Because the problem with it is that I understand what you're saying, but there's always somebody who takes kindness for weakness. There's always going to be somebody when I welcome you in with open arms and say yes. From what I understand, a lot of the original American Indians didn't even understand the idea of land ownership.
Yeah.
It's this is mine now. Yeah, okay.
They didn't understand it.
What does that even mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's yours now. Okay.
This is our land.
Well, when they offered to buy it, they said, I can't sell you. This is not mine. They offered to buy it.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, when you think about it from that perspective, it's like, you know what? People should have the right to live how they want to live, including and that includes everybody. In other words, if you want to wear a three-piece suit and have that kind of a society and have a democracy, by all means, you definitely should have the right to do that. But if you want to be in the jungle and you're happy and you drinking deer milk or whatever it is and you climbing trees for your food and killing out, and that's how you want to live, you should have the right to live that way.
I don't agree.
Mike, are you just saying so that people have access to modern medicine and running water?
But what if they're happy?
Excuse me?
What if they're happy?
Yeah, I mean,
maybe they don't know they're not happy.
But that's what I'm saying. But
maybe
but ignorance is bliss. So if they're happy, look, if you're happy, right?
Maybe their happiness is not the concept of the idea of happiness, but their happiness with the concept of filth and insecurity and disease.
But you know what, Mike? When they've been around thousands of years and they feel comfortable, if they feel good being barefoot with like some stuff around, I got a fur on my balls and I got a.
Hey, can I tell you something?
I feel comfortable.
I get them used to it in 21 days.
Well, that's habit. That you're talking about building habits.
Yeah,
I understand. Yeah, you could build a habit over a course of time. That's just like working out or thinking a certain way. Of course,
I'm a habit. You're a habit. All of us are habits.
Oh, of course. You're the sum of habits.
Yeah, we all
you're the sum of habits. But I think that. Look, letting people have the right to live how they want to live. Look, you can find a positive on both sides, right? You got people who say, African society, some of the people who were sold out by their own people and ended up in slavery, because it's not like a white guy went over there and said, I'm taking everybody. There was people that were part of that process. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be very difficult for you to just go and take people from somewhere if they don't want to go. All right? And I'm not saying they want to go by any means. I'm just saying that there was a whole process there, right? That was horrifying and terrible, and it was the worst shit in the world. And you could say that now you have people around the world who are successful, who become successful, because of their participation in European culture or their participation in some of the Western things that go on. But what I'm saying is, the flip side of that is, you know what? There are people that are happy, like you talked about. It like that. Was it the Maori tribe? Was it the tribe that's on the island that they shoot arrows at the planes when the planes go overhead?
Senegal.
Is that
Ceylonese?
Yeah, it's the Maori tribe. It's the Maori tribe, right? And that's the one they've tried to go visit, and they're just hostile. But
but the Maori, they've killed around 7 people visiting them already.
But you know what?
Want anybody.
Everybody who got visited ended up getting fucked.
All right,
everybody who got the visit.
So
everybody who got visited got fucked.
All right,
you can't name anybody who everybody who got visited got fucked.
Well, listen, I'm here. If I'm here, they need to be here too. If I'm here, they need to be here too. If I'm in this motherfucker, they need to be here too.
Mike,
maybe you want to try the jungle for a bit.
I'm not hanging out in the jungle.
Mike ain't ready for the jungle. He ain't ready for the jungle. be over there beating motherfuckers up.
They hit me with the blows off.
Yeah, they be done hit Mike with a dart or something. You know, Mike start his shit. They gonna hit him with the dart. They're not playing with Mike. Mike too tough.
Listen,
ain't fucking with Mike.
Al, listen. This guy came over there, a religious guy, fanatic. Jesus loves you. They took him. They wrapped the rope around his neck and took him into the woods.
Hey, yo, Mike, I got news for you, and I believe in God. I believe in God completely. I read the Bible, but Mike, a lot of people, Jesus loves you. Absolutely came with that.
Yeah.
And it was something else that came behind that. So,
man.
the worst mistake you can make is one for kindness.
Whoa.
So there's a prime example.
You feel like the biggest sucker, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, let's let people live the way they want to live, man.
I agree,
This guy said, "Don't get mad at them if they kill me or anything, because it's in the name of Jesus love." Look at it.
But here's my
Jesus
thing.
love.
I know. It happened.
But see, but God ain't go. I don't believe that God is gonna tell you to go over there and do that.
No, God's not.
God ain't gonna tell you to go over there.
Religion is not a fool.
Look, I'm here to give you this because. How you gonna tell me I'm unhappy? How you going to tell me I'm unhappy? Motherfucker, you know I'm unhappy. You're going to tell me that I'm unhappy. I'm over here, I'm on my island, I'm chilling, you know what I mean? I'm eating my food that I've been eating for thousands of years, and you going to come over here and tell me I'm unhappy and I need your rules.
Yeah, fuck that.
Nah.
Can you imagine, listen, what made them stay there? Because some people left. And they stayed.
It's just like the hood, Mike. It's just like the Appalachians. It's people that are in West Virginia and the Appalachians who've been there for years and years and have never left. And the only exposure that they have to the outside world is through the media, through what's online, through their phones, through the internet, through TV. So
what are they? Are they inbred? Do they breed with each other,
brother? No, I wouldn't say that. I just think
I don't know.
No, I would say that just everybody doesn't think big. Everybody doesn't wake up and think there's more out there. Everybody doesn't wake up and say, yo, there's a bigger world out there. You have some people, they're just simple people. It's nothing wrong with them. It's not that they're any necessarily dumber or smarter or worse off. It's just the spirit of some people is, you know what? This is my community. This is where I live. I'm home. And they're simple. Like, I'll give you an example. I had a wonderful experience. I went out to Ohio. I was out there hanging out, talking about doing some different stuff. Really simple people in Ohio. There was very, it wasn't like New York and LA. Totally different spirit. The middle of the country, thinks different, feels different. We talk about a lot of fancy concepts and, in New York and LA. But, in the middle of the country, things are a little, on certain levels, are a lot simpler. And people aren't thinking about all of that fancy shit. They're thinking about just taking care of their families, making sure everybody's happy, making sure there's a meal on the table, making sure their kids get educated, making sure they have good work and they feel good and that they can have some enjoyment in life. And there's just some people that think very, very simply. And it's not, you can't necessarily criticize it. It's just a different way of thinking. New York and LA, we're very sophisticated, East Coast, West Coast. I mean, look, you got TV shows, right? You got TV shows literally, like a fucking million people watch them and they get all the awards. Don't nobody watch this shit. Nobody fucking watches this shit, B. And you get all the awards. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? You got literally a million people watch this shit and you get all the fucking awards? And then you got shows where like 10, 15 million people watching don't get shit. Now come on.
Well, that's how the system play. That's how the system play.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the difference. That's what I'm talking about. On the system, you have all these people that are very sophisticated. They're real fancy. You know what I'm saying? They know this, they know that. And then you got some people that are very simple. Yeah. This is middle America. These are simple folks who just want to,
want jobs.
Just want jobs and life and love and happiness. And
barbecues on the weekend.
Barbecues, hey, 4th of July, and just keep it simple.
Yeah.
And you got to respect both. Absolutely. I've learned to respect both.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've learned to respect both. And it really was an eye-opener for me because you can forget. Yeah. You can forget that there are simple people out there that just working class, normal people that are not part of this fancy world that we live in. We have friends that are billionaires and shit like that. Like, these people don't, they're not meeting, guys like that, women like that. They're not meeting people like that. It's a whole different mindset. That's like another planet, and you have to remember that.
Well, on a very primal level, evolutionarily,
I was taught not to be those people as a kid. I watched my mother, I watched my father, I watched them live that life, nobody's life.
Yeah, it's you know what?
I didn't want. That's what it was called then. The nobody's life. I didn't want that nobody. I didn't want that desperate life when things were hard. You had to do desperate things that you lose your fucking pride over to get food for the kids.
Yeah,
I didn't like that.
Well, that's
life.
a different thing, right? Because now you're talking about where
I'm talking about survival.
Yeah, you're talking about being deprived.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother level. Like what I was talking about is just the average people who are doing okay. They're not doing phenomenal, but they're doing okay. Now, when you talk about poverty,
any minute they can die.
Yeah, when you talk about poverty, when you talk about poverty.
Okay.
When you talk about poverty, whether it's the inner city or you talk about like, you know, some of the whether it's the black community or some of the southern white communities where people just where it's all about survival and everybody's all fucked up and nobody has nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, see, United States is funny.
You fucked me up with that because I lived in Ohio, but I didn't live in that world. Everything you want this. I'm like, fuck.
Exactly. So
where
when you
were
think of
Mike though?
Huh? I'm upstairs. I got a farm. No, I'm from like 60 minutes, 40 minutes from Cleveland. I got a farm. Everything's good. I got a massive house. Everything looks great over here. The town is nice. Everything's good.
Yeah, but the regular people aren't living that life. Yeah. They don't have heated marble floors.
The high school basketball player is their biggest star.
Yeah. You know, and you got to respect. So I've learned
he's always in the paper, the high school basketball player.
And what I've learned, man, is that you got to respect people for who they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to respect regular people for being regular people. And that's all right. And I don't judge people by everybody doesn't get judged by the same standards and rules. You know what I'm saying? So when you talk about the inner city or when you talk about Appalachian, when you talk about people, you know, Flint, where people with water problems, you talk about people having issues with nutrition, you talk about no money. I mean, that's a whole nother type of mentality too. Yeah. That's another mentality.
Don't got money to see the doctor.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. So, you know, we gotta like even Flint, like you talk about Flint, right? Like there's really no reason right now in the United States of America at this day and age why those people shouldn't have water. That shit is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that shit is crazy to me. Yeah. Like that's nuts to me. That they're not being taken care of, that somebody hasn't gone in and really taken care of that.
It's
you know what
unbelievable.
I'm saying? To me, I think you find money in the government, you figure it out. Yeah. You find the funds, you find the financing. Even prime example, and I don't know if it was included, but I understand that they had this big disaster relief bill that passed, or whatever it was, to get funding for some of the natural disasters that have happened in the U.S., including Puerto Rico. I think that Flint should have been included in that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But they're not going to be, because they're poor white kids, the black kids.
They should be included
in that. Be included, but they're not. Why aren't they? They're not. Everybody's talking about they're not.
You know why? Because everybody doesn't care about everything. A lot of people, you know, you can always count on self-interest. A lot of people, they base their decisions, including politicians, including even everyday people to a certain extent. Their decisions are based on self-interest, fear and self-interest. You know what I'm saying? And they make decisions based on that. You know what I mean? So when you're dealing with people that are making decisions based on self-interest and they having another agenda, they're not thinking about something that's bigger than themselves. But if we have a government, or if we have just people in general in positions, not to criticize our government because they do some things right, but I'm saying if we have people in position that think about the greater good and think about what's best for all of us, I think that we would have a better country and a better society. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I think that's part of what's missing.
Well,
you know
I think
what I mean?
we're seeing that turnover happening right now.
It
like
is.
You were saying with this abortion bill being passed. And it's really, in my eyes, it looks to be the death throes of the white supremacy.
It is.
It's they're clawing with their fingernails at everything they can to hold on to this shit.
Well, you know, people that benefit from the old way fight against the new way as much as possible.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, listen, I keep saying when you talk about the white supremacy, right? What are they going to do for when all the whites are gone? We still have all their, we have their characteristics. White supremacy continues to go on in another form.
Well, yeah. Well, people are always going to. You're right, Mike. Yeah. People are always going to find something to separate us, right? If everybody was blind, then they'd be talking about the people with big hands versus small hands, or goddamn it, high voices versus low voice. They'd figure something out because people love to compartmentalize, make categories, and put people in boxes. They just enjoy that. And fear makes them do that because you have people that are afraid that they're going to go away. People are afraid that, you know, you want our women or you want our girls or you're not going to. And that is an unnatural fear. It's a knee-jerk response or reaction, rather, to fear. You know what I'm saying? It's really like, it's a lot of fear-based shit going on. So we just gotta, I think, look, the more we could come together as people, the better. I know that in the context of what's going on in the world, that may seem a little idealistic, and it probably is, but I do believe that there's some truth in it, that the more we can come together, the better off we'll all be.
Yeah.
And what I'm not going to let people do is, I'm not going to let people make me, like, hate all white people because there's one group that is on some kind of weird mission. I'm going to, like, judge people separately and let people be who they are. Just like every brother ain't a brother. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody that fights you is not your enemy, and everybody that helps you is not your friend.
That's right. That's right. And sometimes your enemies are your best friends.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I say that in the sense of not like your enemy being your best friend, but sometimes the actions of your enemy can turn out to be the most rewarding and beneficial things.
That's why
for
a traitor is the most hated person in this planet, because a traitor, he looks like you. He dresses like you. He eats the same food you do. He says the same thing to his mother that you say to your mother.
But and even worse, he convinced you that he was with you.
No, exactly. He does everything you do.
Yeah.
He makes you, you're comfortable. Everything you do, you breathe, he does.
Yeah.
So how can he be my enemy?
And it's funny you say that, because, see, that's the other part of it about America that we have to remember, that especially, as black people, and it's tough because of everything that goes on, but we got to remember that if somebody invaded these shores, we still got to be there for this country.
Oh, absolutely.
Regardless of some of the dirty laundry that we have internally with some of the race stuff, at the end of the day, this is our country. You got to love your country. Like, I'm not saying that it's all good. I'm not trying to whitewash it. I'm not trying to say that, I know, I know. I get all that. I really do. I get that there's some bad shit that happens. But what I'm saying is, if boots hit the ground from another place, we have to be willing to defend it. We're not just going to lay back and say, okay, y'all got it. At least I wouldn't.
No, we can't.
I wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? So,
the only reason that we wanted to go to the war, because we wanted to convince the world we weren't cowards.
Not only convince people, no,
that was it.
Yeah.
They said we were cowards, we weren't fit for war.
Yeah, but it's not.
We fought in every war in this country.
Well, look.
My family fought in every war in this country.
So did mine. My grandfather was in the Army and my father was in the Navy. But you know what is even deeper than that, Mike? Look, everybody in the world was slaves at some point.
Yeah, I know
There's
that.
no ethnicity in the world that wasn't slaves. We just, it's just when you go back thousands and thousands of years, history gets erased. And, I always look at race relations like franchises in sports, right? I have this weird theory, right? The Yankees are up. They've been up for a long time, but there was a time when they weren't. Or there are different races. Like, there's an ebb and flow of society, swinging of the pendulum. So if you go back to when the Egyptians, or you go back to even before the Egyptians, when the Nubians, and you go back before that, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years to some of the king letters
and cavemen.
There was always an ebb and flow of people. So you can't wake up in the morning and feel like you're a loser. And you don't, because everybody in this world was a slave. Every ethnicity was a slave at some point. Believe me, they were either slaves, they were prisoners of war, they were indentured servants, they were absolutely dominated at some point. You go to Britain, you look at Britain, but look what the Romans did to Britain. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could go I could point to any
tunnels
country.
in Britain, they got tunnels, biggest cities and stuff.
You know what I'm saying?
Moscow,
I could point
too.
to any country.
The Romans.
Any ethnicity. So you can't get caught up in that. You got to love yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah.
When you say love, now let's go back to loving. Why do you love it? Listen, when some people say, Mike, you gotta treat yourself better. All right, I'm gonna treat myself better. I'm gonna go to a fucking orgy, right? I'm gonna go buy myself a great fucking suit. I'm gonna buy myself a Rolls Royce. Is that treating myself better? Or is treating myself good going to a fucking mental health center? Which one is treating myself good?
You know what? It's what brings you. Look, you can only do what you knew how to do, Mike.
Exactly.
So
100%.
when you were buying cars and crashing them and throwing them away, I did the same thing. I bought a BM in motherfucking in Baltimore, DC area, crashed that shit on farmers and fuck it.
Let's
just
get
got
out
another
of here.
one. I did the same shit. I was retarded. But I was only dealing with the information that I knew. I didn't know no better. So happiness and joy and what's best for you is about, do you know any better? You can only use the information that you have. We couldn't have had this conversation, honey. When we was hanging out in Don King's penthouse.
Forget it. I can't forget it. Fuck! What's wrong with me?
What are you guys talking about that?
What is that like? Oh, fuck it. Now, how's your family again? How's everybody doing?
Oh my God!
That's
Oh my
hysterical.
God! Yo,
Oh, man.
you know what I mean? So,
Fuck.
shit is
Yeah.
hilarious.
They're kids, though. The kids are weird. Like, I should
Shit's
look at my
hilarious.
son. My kids are weird. Kids are weird. Kids
No
are
doubt,
weird.
man. So you use the information you got, man.
Listen,
Yeah.
listen,
Shit is hilarious.
I watched The Black Godfather last night. Clarence
I watched
Avon.
it. It was amazing.
Amazing, right?
Yeah.
But when he said everything's numbered, I disagree with that.
Okay, tell me why.
Right? He says everything's numbered. He said
Okay.
your first number is when you're born, your year you're born, and the year that you die. Mm-hmm. Some people don't know what year they're born. Sonny Liston didn't know what year he was born. He didn't have the information. Life is information. That's
Well,
what
you
life
know,
is.
I've always been a person with
My
the numbers.
belief, life is information.
Yeah.
We would not know it if it ends and start with numbers. We didn't have
Well,
the
it's
information.
accurate
it does.
information. It's
Yes.
accurate information. I would say that, I understand what he's saying. I always hear people say like men lie, women lie, numbers don't. That's true, but people lie with numbers.
Yes.
Right? So even though the numbers don't lie, people can lie with numbers.
And listen, but
right?
Al,
I mean, look at Enron.
Who Al? I mean, I'm fucking Cool J. Who the fuck is counting?
But that's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point. So exactly. So men lie, women lie, numbers don't. But who's counting? That's exactly my point. So, I've never really totally agreed with that. I understand the concept, and it is true in its essence. But it's a fact. But the truth is, people lie with numbers. See, there's a difference between facts and truth. Right? It was a fact. Everybody thought that the sun revolved around the earth, but the truth was that the earth revolved around the sun. Right? So it's a fact that numbers don't lie. That it is even true, but it's also true that people lie with numbers. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So you gotta kind of take all that with a grain of salt. That being said, I have supreme respect for Clarence
doubt
Avon
about
and what he brought to the table and what he
brought
talks
to the
about.
table was now. Listen, that started a whole new fucking dimension for us.
Look, I have a song
For
called
us, that's-
Jingling Baby.
yes.
My
I remember
song
that.
Jingling Baby would not be. I wouldn't have that song if Clarence didn't agree to clear it. Because we sampled Dennis Coffey. You know what I'm saying? Scorpio. So I mean, like the reality is Clarence Avon is a giant amongst men, and what he was able to accomplish, not being conscious of. Being conscious of what it meant to be a black man in America, but still taking his life to that next level and doing what he did. I mean, that's unheard of. He's an unbelievable human being.
Superman.
He's amazing.
It should have been
Amazing.
Black Superman.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's
It should
amazing.
have been Black Superman.
And Quincy Jones, who's a great friend of mine, who always instilled in me, gave me a lot of good advice and a lot of good energy, and always showed me how to be classy. I mean, I would walk in the house at Mr. Jones's house, and he'd be sitting in there with Marlon Brando talking, and I'd see him talking, and we'd be sitting at his kitchen, and he'd be having baked potatoes
Hey,
with
I
caviar
talked to
on
Marlon
top of
Brando
them.
on the phone before, and he was pretty odd, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
Odd guy, yeah.
What was that like?
Who?
dude?
Tell me about no good motherfuckers.
That's what he was telling you about?
Don't trust these motherfuckers. Don't do this and that.
Why
Be
were you on the
careful.
phone with
That's
him?
funny.
Somebody put me on the phone with him. I don't know, some donkey. Somebody put me on the phone with him.
Mike, talk to Marlon.
Yeah, Marlon Brown wants to talk to you. He was
Yeah.
an older man then. He lived in that big old mansion that he had out
Yeah.
there. But he was really kind of interesting, kind of creepy and shit.
Yeah, when I saw him, he was just
kinda
cool. He was just chilling with
Yeah.
Mr. Jones, and they was just in there talking. I just remember sitting there like a fly on the wall, like tripping out, like, yo.
That's a trip.
Like Mr. Jones, he took me to meet Frank Sinatra, you know what I'm saying? And like, I went to see Frank during some of his last concerts in Vegas when
Yeah,
he was playing
in
out
Atlantic
there.
City, too. He
and
played some.
And he was like, hey, Quincy, you have any problems, you call me, I'll call LL, he'll break somebody's legs for you. You know what I mean?
Man,
like,
listen.
yo, Frank Sinatra
Listen, I
was
met Frank
cool.
Sinatra
He's a
when
cool dude.
I met him like 90 when I was on top of my thing, right? I was
Right.
doing my little thing, 90. I'm Mike Tyson. So he was talking to me. He was happy he was talking to me. So I'm looking. I'm fucking looking at him like this. And so he gets it, right? And then he says to me, before he leaves, he was talking to some people, right? And I'm watching him. And before he leaves, he walks by me. And he said, listen, let me explain something to you, kids. Not how good you're doing. It's how long you're doing good.
Woo! See, that's the real shit I'm talking about right there. It's not how good you're doing. It's how long you're doing good.
Yeah, that's the fuck.
You know, it's funny because when we was walking. He said to me when we was walking towards the dressing room, he said,
let me tell you something. He was nice to me. He was really nice. He said, look at you, I'm nice to me, check me. But then I ran into him again. He was sick. He wasn't feeling good. And they wanted to take a picture. He said, Mike, get over here now. Mike, get over here, man. And I said, well, okay.
Yeah.
That's when I saw that part of him. I said, fuck.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yep.
That's a trip.
Yeah.
That's funny. I remember we was walking to the dressing room, and he said to me, he said, stick with me, kid. I'm the guy you came to the dance with.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, go home with the person you came to the dance with. That's the old school.
Yeah.
Go home with the person you came to the dance
with. Kid. I'm the guy you came to the dance with. I'm like, yo, Frank Sinatra's cool, man. You know,
he was the man back then,
Yeah.
and he was human. Like they showed things that they never showed about his relationship with Ava Gardner. He was just so overwhelmed, pussy whooped over her. He just couldn't. He was fucking dead. He was dead. She could do anything to him, but she felt that she was entitled to because she felt she took care of him. And then when she took care of him, he went back with these guys. Like these guys, the one that drained him, that put him in this situation
Love
for me
Frank,
to take care of him. And she saw him at his weak moments. And sometimes when women see you weak, whoa, that's not healthy.
It's definitely not.
I don't allow that to happen.
It's definitely not.
My wife even gets angry, but I don't let her see me that bad. We've been low before. They look at
you don't want to do too much
Frank
of that.
Weak.
Too much of that boohoo and shit.
Don't
do too much of that.
She saw him weak. And so she played. That was
that's
weak.
a problem. And then in general, look, we all have vulnerable moments, but you should in general be strong.
Yes.
Too. You know what I'm saying? Like you should be strong.
Yeah.
Personally.
No, the woman don't want to have to. She don't want to be the head of the fucking family when it comes to this.
Definitely not.
They're so used to that.
And I think a man needs to be on his purpose first too.
Exactly.
And you got to be on your mission. Your mission got to be first, and your purpose got to be first. You know what I'm saying? And you can't put anything in front of your mission and your purpose and your dreams. And you can't. What you don't want to do is put yourself in a position where you're tiptoeing and crawling behind a woman who you love, as opposed to putting your mission and your purpose first. Because if you put your mission and your purpose first, you'll be able to take care of your family. You'll be able to take. That's why, like on a plane, they say put your oxygen mask on first. Then take care of the person next to you.
You don't take care of you, can't
take care of your mission and your purpose first. You know what I'm saying? Take care of that first. Then we'll deal with, and then by doing that, you'll be able to take care of the woman you love and your family. You know what I'm saying? But be a man. Be a man first. You know what I'm saying? Don't, you don't have to be a boohoo, crybaby, fucking...
It's interesting you guys having this conversation.
No, listen.
Stemming from Frank Sinatra.
No,
because he was a man's man. When we think about him, though, Frank.
Yeah, listen,
Frank is funny.
He was a man's man, but a woman still broke him.
Yeah.
Okay.
It happens.
Exactly.
It can happen.
Badly. We all look up to. We all look up
Absolutely.
to. We all look up to Frank, but the woman still had him on his knees crying to him.
Yeah, it can happen.
Yeah.
It can happen. It can happen. But you know what?
Right.
You just don't want to do that.
We
on
all
purpose.
gonna do that. We all do that.
Well, but I mean, look, men and women have been like that for thousands of years, right? I mean, men, a woman gets pregnant, 9 months. A man, you could have,
90 babies in 9 months.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a different mentality and a different form of existence. Women are going to be more selective in who they deal with. Men, like visually, men get stimulated visually as soon as they see something. Oh, I like that. Women, it's an emotional thing.
How do we control our visualization and reality?
By understanding
visualization and reality is not the same.
I tell you, by allowing that energy to influence you and inspire you in different ways. Like just because you see a girl that's attractive doesn't necessarily mean you have to have her. You could let that attraction and that vibe inspire you. You know what I'm saying? You could just take it as inspiration. You don't necessarily have to have her. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't. That's up to every guy to make his own choice. But I'm saying you don't necessarily have to have her. You can let that energy and that spirit and that beauty inspire you and move and get you to want to go to new heights. What do they say? A man who can conquer himself is stronger than a man who can conquer a city, right?
Yeah, it's
because
about conquering
you got,
Absolutely.
when it's right there in front of you, it's like the cookie jar's right there. It's just like, what can you do? Can you conquer you? But that's up to, nobody's perfect. I don't want to try to talk from a pedestal. We've all been there, done some crazy shit in our lives, including me. But I would say that, what you want to do is you just want to use that as inspiration and just have that real strength. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's what I would say.
I mean, I think there's a lot of men out there, though, who feel that way that Mike feels, and it's like what you're saying.
I think, listen, people look at it from an intimate
learning
perspective.
to conquer yourself.
Yeah,
as a
right.
man.
You got to learn
because
learn.
that's part of harnessing that masculine energy.
That's what I'm saying. You can harness the masculine energy. You don't necessarily have to have her. You can use that energy to push you to new heights. You know what I'm saying? It's I guess Napoleon Hill would call it sexual transmutation.
No, but this is something that's not written in books. You know.
Yeah.
When a man and a woman have sex, in a way, it's kind of a psychological, emotional. It's a war going on. And listen, and the woman knows when she wins.
Of course.
Just like you know when you won.
Of course. And you know what?
They know when you won too.
Right.
Well, everybody knows someone's going to win.
Well, it's very simple.
And we know,
if you're not on your purpose, if you're not
Yes.
on your purpose and you're not on your mission, then you've lost.
Yes.
All right? Look, no woman is going to be happy with you chasing her ass all the time. Like all the time. I'm not talking about in the beginning when you guys are coming together. I'm talking about if you live your life chasing a woman and showing up at her doorstep and having flowers and shit and violins and, you know, all that shit, you're killing yourself.
Yeah.
The relationship is not going to last.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have to be confident enough
But then
to
some
go
women
after
love it.
your
I've been
dreams.
there with some little women love being spoiled, getting everything, and then soon you fuck them, you don't stimulate it. Oh my God, this nigga's sick.
But
Get
that's
the
what I'm
fuck outta
saying.
here.
But that was my
Fuck out,
point.
yeah.
Mike, that's my point.
Oh, okay.
And that's my point.
She said,
it's
"Get
like
the
it
fuck
doesn't
outta here."
it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So fellas, I'm just gonna give you some advice. All that chasing, that shit don't work.
No,
if
not
she
at
wanna
all.
be, look, if
Not
she
at all.
wants to be with you, she'll be with you. Believe me. All that chasing shit, you killing yourself, B. I promise you.
And listen,
I guarantee
I bought all this shit for the money. I was buying this girl everything. I bought this girl cars and jewelry.
Oh, yeah.
I bought an apartment.
Oh.
Soon I fuck. Not that I didn't think I
Well,
put it down and she didn't like the way I made love to her. So I wasn't cool.
No, it ain't.
You know,
It's not
wasn't
even
good energy.
It's
She
not
didn't
only.
like the
It's not
energy.
only to make love,
It wasn't
but
the
it's not
energy.
only to make love. The reality is, when you buy your way in and you become a provider and you just become like you represent provision. That's not the same as being sexually stimulating.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
figured that
like
out.
representing provision and just being a guy. Yo, I'm gonna buy you a bunch of shit. Yo, that's weak.
I ain't
See,
never
I would never
buy nobody
guys
shit
that use
again.
money, guys that use money,
never do
guys
that
that
shit
use
again.
money to sustain their relationships and use money to get their way in. That
Yeah,
shit
that was
is
me.
weak.
That
It's
was me.
weakness.
Fuck, take
It's
this
weak
bitch. Let me in
because
her.
you don't believe in you enough.
Yeah.
You trying to use
way.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
100%.
You gotta
100%.
be
Fuck
you.
that.
The money is an exclamation mark. The
Yeah.
money
I
makes you
agree.
more of whatever you already are.
Yeah.
But you gotta bring something to the table.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It's not about
I never
the
wanted
money.
to bring anything to the table.
Yeah, you
I
want
ain't
the
want-
easy way.
Yeah, I want the easy way
But
out.
the easy way will get you in, but it ain't no
Ain't gonna-
relationship
yeah,
in it.
yeah.
Or unless she just wants the provision.
Yeah.
Unless she just wants to be provided before. But guess what? When you're the guy that's providing the money and all that, what she's gonna do is she's gonna get a silverback gorilla to tear her
Yes.
ass up on
Yes,
the
no
side
doubt. There's
because
no doubt.
you're not bringing the
No,
stimulation.
I used to be
Believe me.
I used to be the
Believe me.
silverback gorilla.
Yeah,
I used to be the gorilla.
Yeah,
I
that's
know.
different. Yeah.
No,
See, you can be one or
saying-
the other. You know what I mean? You could be the silverback gorilla, or
Yeah.
you could be the fucking guy who's
Yeah, I
paying
giving
the,
her
I bet they
everything.
both
Yeah.
bro. They had both sides. Both sides.
You know what I mean?
Fuck, man.
Yeah.
Shit,
That's just
dude.
one to grow on. That's just one to grow on.
Il, how much time do you have? Do you have some time?
I mean, shit, I've been here 3 days. You mean,
Okay.
I'm good. I'm great.
Cool,
I'm
man.
having fun. I'm good. I mean, I don't know how you're going to air this whole thing at once, but
No,
this got to
no,
be a
we-
3-parter. or
Nah,
something.
we do this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. You know what I'm saying?
That's what
Shit, and
happens.
you talking?
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't want to
Yeah.
talk about the. What are they talking about?
Oh, I'm talking about Rock the Bells. Like, give me the sweatshirt.
All right, bring
Yeah,
it in.
yeah,
Bring
Rock
it in
the
for the
Bells.
Show
show
the
on
Rock the
stage.
Bells. Rock the Bells Radio. So,
Yeah, I listen to it every day when we get
Rock
here.
the
Come
Bells.
here.
This is
That's
the
dope.
Rock the
man.
Bells.
yeah. That's the
Classic music on radio.
sweat.
Yep,
Sweatshirts,
classic. It's a class. In the front, it says strictly for OGs. Rock
talk
the
about
Bells
that.
is a classic hip hop station. It's dedicated to classic hip hop. So
Yes,
it's
I listen
all
to
the
it.
stuff
We listen
grew
to
up.
while we come here.
Channel 43 on Sirius XM. People should check it out. You know what I'm saying? I program every song. That's the thing people don't know. I pick every song. I pick all the
Nice.
commercials. I pick all the
Yeah,
imaging.
Rakim in there.
Yeah, I play Rakim. I
That's
play Eric
dope.
B, Big Daddy Kane, NWA, Dre, Snoop. I mean, every classic hip hop
Hell yeah.
artist, everything from the 2000s and before is all playing on Rock the Bells on Sirius XM Channel
Love
43.
that.
So people should check that
I
out.
thought everybody
Dope
knew
as
this
hell.
shit.
Nah, they don't know
They
it.
know?
Your fans probably don't know, but now you know. Channel 43, Sirius XM,
Well, my
if you want to
fans
hear the
are your
classic hip
fans, though.
hop. No doubt.
Oh.
They are.
This
They
ain't
are.
me, Joe.
They are. But you know what? They might not be it might not be on their radar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now you know. Channel 43, Sirius XM.
You know.
Yep.
Something else you're doing, man.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's,
Now, tell
it's
us
a lot
more
of fun.
about. I
Rock
want
the
to know more
bells.
about how did you feel about the fucking Star of Fame?
The Star on the Walk of Fame. I
That's
felt-
accomplished shit. You know,
it was-
not
it
too
was
many
a-
black people on that shit.
You know, there's actually a picture of me when I was a little kid. I came out to LA and I stood on the star and there was no name on a star. I just picked the star and me and my crew stood on it, right? It was an amazing time. But there's a picture of me, you know, on the Walk of Fame. And man, that was just a hell of a feeling, man. Just to know that you made that kind of an impact. You know what I'm saying?
Dude.
You know, that kind of an impact, man, is an
you
amazing feeling.
deserve that shit.
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling, man. Shout out to everybody who was there. Puff and Magic Johnson, Latifah, Russell. You know, just I want to send love to the whole Walk of Fame. You know what I'm saying? It's an amazing feeling.
El, you're like an American treasure, dude.
I'm grateful.
Yeah.
I'm grateful, man.
You know?
I'm grateful. You know, it's funny. I think that the universe is funny. Like, I think about me sitting here with Mike many years later, and I'm looking at you, and I think about how you inspired some of my early albums with, like, I'm Bad, and, you know, I said I'm like Tyson. I said I'm a soldier at war. Say your name in the record and all that. And I think
dope.
about how if you wasn't a little kid from Brooklyn that bust your ass and did what you did, how I would have never had that line. And I think about fast forwarding to us sitting here, and it's funny how like it's like a solar system, and certain people revolve.
Yeah.
And just, you know what I'm saying?
This
Do
is what-
you know what I mean?
You know what?
Like-
This is what I said about we're all like they did 7 degrees of separation.
Yeah.
With this stuff, we come more how do I express it? We come more connected with those people.
Yep.
Even more from like a 1 degree separation because we get to know who they are from this.
Yep.
Which
It's-
we had never known before. The information that this give us.
It's a-
Yeah.
We're all one with everything. The
Well,
bugs,
amazing
the
feeling,
trees.
man.
I was thinking about that when you guys were talking about both meeting Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
How interesting that is.
Yeah.
Sam, you ever meet Sammy
You know?
Davis?
I never met
Nah,
Sammy.
fuck.
No, never met Sammy.
Coolest,
But his
man.
family, his wife and kids, I believe, were in the
Up
neighborhood in
Harlem.
Queens.
Yeah, they got
But
some-
and they had a
some
place
in
in Queens as well.
Yeah.
And but you know, I like meeting Jackie Robinson's wife. You know,
Something.
amazing. I was at the airport. Talking to her. I met some unbelievable people over my
I met
years.
his children.
Just people I know, like Barbara Streisand, very interesting people I know that you wouldn't think, like, you know,
Yeah.
there's a whole world out there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's amazing, man, how your music, that's like its whole own amazing storyline. Then your movies, acting. Like, I loved Deep Blue Sea.
But yeah, that was fun.
Loved Any
That was
Given
fun.
Sunday.
Thank you.
2 of my favorite movies
You
growing
got remember
up.
when you played God? I knew
Yeah,
God.
In
You
Too
played
Deep.
God. Yeah.
In Too Deep. Yeah, In Too Deep was a lot of fun.
Yeah, dude, I mean,
shout out
just-
to Omar Epps.
How'd you get to acting?
You know what it
From-
was? I'll tell you the real story. Here's how I go. First of all, when I was a little kid, I always loved acting. You know, we used to like get the camcorder out, and I'd be like pretending I was Bruce Lee because you know Bruce Lee was like, you know, he wasn't a black guy, but he wasn't white, and he was like a superstar in the film, and
And
it
he's
was like
smooth. He had
inspiring. And he worked
smooth.
with like Jim
Yeah.
Kelly and all
He's
these guys,
amazing.
and he was super cool, and he inspired me to want to do movies, not necessarily acting per se, but to
Yeah.
be in that position in movies on screen. So I used to walk around on Jamaica Avenue with my Chinese slippers on and my Game of Death suit on.
everybody
You know
did
what I'm
Bruce
saying?
Lee.
You
Everybody
know what I
did
mean?
Bruce
So
Lee.
I love
Everybody.
Bruce. So what happened was when I was making music, there was a certain point. First of all, I was always exposed to the agents in music just because of in film because of the business. So I had music agents, and they were at agencies, and they were acting agents and stuff like that. But the real thing is, one time I went. The real story is one time I went and so funny. Russell don't even know this. I sat with Russell, and I was like, Russell, you know, I wanted to get an advance on one of my albums. I don't remember which one it was, but Russell had said, well, you know, and he had his business, whatever he was doing, but he was like, he like shifted his weight in his chair. And I was saying to myself, you know what? The way he shifted his weight in his chair, this shit, I might be in a position I'm begging in a few years. I said, I ain't with this shit. I went out and started focusing on acting because I didn't want to limit myself. You know what I'm saying? So I got with Quincy Jones and Mr. Jones put me on. He put me in a TV show. That obviously I'd been in films before that, but that was my first real foray into the acting world on a permanent level.
What was the first thing?
The very first thing I did was Crush Groove, and then after that I was in Wildcats, which was Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson's first movie. I had like a bit part cameo in that, and then after that I did Toys with Robin Williams and Michael Gambon and all those people. I did The Hard Way with James Woods, but I moved into the TV because I just didn't want to have limits.
Yeah.
I didn't want to. I'm a big believer that you can't limit yourself. The cunning hare has more than one burrow. You know what I'm saying? The smart rabbit has more than one hole. And I don't want to limit myself. If you have talents, you use them. You don't like ignore certain talents that you have because of fear or whatever. So even though I loved music and still love music, I wanted to do more. I just simply wanted to do more. I had no desire at that time to be an executive. I had no desire to do anything but pursue my dreams. And one of them was to be in films, in TV, and doing that. Plus, it put me in a position where it freed me up. I didn't need nobody. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm in a life now where, you know, I could take my ball and go home. Like, I don't need any, I don't get me wrong, I need people in terms of life and humanity, but I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? I'm thankful. And that was part of it. That was the process.
It's awesome, man.
You know?
What are your dreams these days?
Yeah, when it's all over, what you want said and done?
Well, that's two different questions. In terms of dreams, like I'm a big believer when you're pregnant with a dream, you don't open up your womb and show it to the world, you'll kill a baby. You know what I'm saying? So I have dreams. I never limit myself and I'm still dreaming. In terms of what I want people to remember, I just want people to just look at my body of work and how it impacted the world, and then they could judge for themselves. But I want to be a positive impact on the world, and I want to do more. Like right now I'm enjoying like Rock the Bells because not only because of like, and I'm not just saying some selling promotional shit. I'm saying I enjoy it because I'm serious. I sell this because I enjoy the idea that you have these artists that were forgotten, that were marginalized, that aren't at the top of the pop charts right now, that may not necessarily be the hottest thing in social media, but you know what? They're being respected again, and they're being put in a position again, and people are loving their music and have access to their music.
That's how I feel
again.
about the old fighters.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I feel a bit over. Like, you know, Floyd's a great fighter. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
You know, he had 50 fights, and he says, listen, Sugar Ray Robinson had 47 fights. He lost one, then he had 78 fight. Then he had a 78 fight winning streak.
Yeah, but you even
Can you think he had 47, lost one, then 78 winning streak?
But even more
like
modern than that.
knockouts.
Look at Julio Cesar Chavez.
Woo!
He was 84 and 0,
He
right?
was 89, 90 and 0 before he lost.
89 and 0.
Wow.
So it's
Don't
not,
tell me about you the greatest fighter with 50 and 0, nigga. You're great, no doubt about it, nigga. 50 and 0. Chavez had 90.
Yeah.
He's fighting like what, 8 times a year.
Yeah, it's more to it than
whoever
that.
fought him. Whoever's in the rankings.
Well, I think it's all subjective.
Picking whoever you are. Come on.
I think there are more metrics and more measurements that have to be made. I think who's the greatest is subjective. Like you know, like Mike is obviously one of my favorite fighters for real, not just because I'm sitting here, for real.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I think any guy my age would probably feel in a similar way. But I also like Roy Jones. I think Roy Jones is a motherfucker. I think he got that's what I'm saying. He got clipped later on. But you know, so losing doesn't necessarily define whether you're great or not. Because a lot of people lose. It's you know, it is what it is. But greatness is defined. It's a lot of different ways to define it. It's not only just the win-loss record. I get it. I respect that 100%. But if you fight long enough, and if you don't measure it, you're gonna lose at some point. You know what I'm saying? It's just a matter of time. So, you know, look, Marciano retired undefeated. Marciano retired undefeated. He died. God may rest in peace. Died in a plane crash. He was, you know, amazing. He was 49 and 0. I mean, it has happened before. You know what I'm saying? The greatness to me is the whole body of work, the saga, the fights, the getting on the canvas, the getting up. There's a lot of different things that come into play. But that being said, look, I respect everything that Floyd has accomplished. Like, I really respect Floyd.
You can't deny it.
I'm not going to say, look, at the end of the day, people can say what they want about Floyd as far as his life, but he's a fucking winner. And you gotta respect that. You can talk that shit all you want, but you gotta respect that. But that being said, there's a lot of great fighters. I mean, you know, watching what he did is great. I'm talking about his early fights, like all the crazy shit I seen him do. I remember, like, even though it wasn't super early, but like even Burbick, you know what I'm saying? Like that moment, watching this dude, like this dude, like, and that being said, let me just say this. That's the other thing about fighting. Anybody that laces those gloves up and puts them boots on and walks in that ring deserves respect. I don't care if they got knocked out in the first round or never knocked out, because you know what? The balls and the courage that it takes, and you putting your life on the line, that's a whole nother level.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother level. And like I'll give you an example, like, and look, y'all had fights and he got the best. It was a different time in your life. Different time in your life. But even Lennox is one of my favorite fighters. He's a great fighter. Different era from you. Even though y'all are similar in age, the curve of your career was different. He met you at a different time. But I still respect Lennox. Like, you know, what he did to David Tua. You know what I'm saying? But you got to respect Tua too, though. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the craft, the art of boxing and the spirit of boxing is not about like wins and losses. There's a bigger story, I think, there, which is the spirit
in
of
boxers,
man.
we don't look at like how many fights you win and lose. We just say, what happened to you? What did you do? You know, what happened to you? What happened? You know what I mean? Even though you became a great fighter, at the end of the game, did you leave here fucked up and shit?
Right, and plus, it's balls too, right? So here's the other thing. The win-loss thing, the thing about the win-loss and the undefeated thing is that, you know, the guys with balls, the bigger the balls, the more likely you're going to lose.
Yeah.
Because you're going to keep going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Guys like Ali, they want to say, how far can I go?
If you're a real intellectual, real smart person, like let's say a Marciano or a Floyd, maybe you stop early. You're like, even Lennox to a certain extent was one of those that I think he beat everybody that he ever got in there with eventually, even though he lost like to McCall and he lost to Hasim Rahman. He was able to right those losses, but he even stopped earlier. It seems to me like the guys, the more courageous guys, the Alis, you know, the Mikes, they keep going.
No, but you gotta look at these guys. The guys that keep going, we keep going, but we do it out of money. A lot of times we do it out of money.
Sometimes.
But then a lot of a guy like Ali, right? Ali do it because he believes that no one could beat him.
That's what I'm saying.
He really believes no one can beat him.
That's what I'm saying. That's the courageousness.
Yeah.
That's the courageousness.
Some guys fight just for money to get some money, but
Right.
this guy fights because he don't believe nobody could beat him.
That's what I'm saying, man.
It's totally different situation.
That's a hell
fighting
of a
for
belief.
money and fighting for a guy because nobody can fucking beat me.
So prime example. So a guy like that, you can't really look at win losses because there's something else there. There's an indomitable spirit there.
No,
you know
listen,
what I'm
with a guy like that, you have to be careful. You have to watch him because he won't stop. You have to kill him for him to lose. He won't quit. Ali won't quit.
Ali was unbelievable.
Like
man.
this, Ali go like this. No, I don't want to fight no more. No, you got to kill him.
Ali was unbelievable.
Such pride, fucking such ability to love himself. Wow, fuck, it's crazy. Crazy,
unbelievable. You think about Liston and you think about
Frazier and those guys.
You know, like Liston was like so unappreciated. You know, and the way he passed, the way he died, they say he got killed, overdose. Like, I mean,
he didn't even do drugs, but he did some cocaine. But listen, that smacked the shit out of Ali before. Ali was talking the shit, and he smacked the shit out of him. Ali fucking shit.
Wow.
He just left. Ali left the fucking ran out the place. He smacked the shit out of Ali.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yo, Liston was something else. Big hands. Hell of a fighter. I love that
most
thing.
Intimidating fighting in the history of fighting. Nobody's just a mean motherfucker. But listen what the real deal. You know, like some guys out here, they get in the paper. Liston was knocking the cops out, breaking the just knocking. So when he comes to a town, Liston comes to Philadelphia, so to speak. He's in Philadelphia. The cops made a call. They come to the train station, the bus station, wherever he at. You can't come here. You get on the bus and leave. They won't let him. St. Louis, you can't come here. The cops at the train station. Get on the bus and leave. They won't let him come in the States.
Too dangerous.
Just for formidable, mean son of a bitch. And he happened to be a fighter. He's a mean, rotten, just
But you know
it's
that
a motherfucker.
mean spirit. You can have a killer instinct and a mean spirit.
They say you got 5 minutes out there. I'm looking at your people. They say you got 5 minutes.
A killer instinct and a mean spirit are two different things.
So I see the lady love thing going on over here. You got the lady assistants and
That's
stuff.
your team.
That's my team. That's the team there. They all working.
That's
they all
dope.
working. They all
That's
working.
dope, man.
They all working.
I'll be so afraid.
Great
to have a bunch
team.
of My
Hell.
wife would kill me and stuff.
Why?
My wife just don't want me. I don't be around no fucking bitches, nigga. Because she knows who I was at one time. You know, listen, my wife loves me. Listen, I'm keeping it real. My wife loves me to death. My wife would kill and die. My wife don't trust me. She shouldn't trust me.
Yeah.
You know, she should trust. Well, I'm trustworthy now, but she shouldn't trust me.
Well, my wife
because-
is gonna have to.
Yeah. She's gonna have.
Yeah,
well,
she's gonna
see,
have to.
I know my wife don't trust me.
Yeah, she's
There's
gonna
no doubt
have to
about
trust
it.
me. She's gonna have to trust me because
She
I'm
won't know
gonna
what-
hire who I want.
That's,
Yeah,
I
she gonna
love
have to
that
trust
shit.
me.
I'm
She
just
gonna
not
have to
gonna
trust
do
me.
that. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
do
she
it.
gonna have to
I'm
trust
not
me.
gonna fucking hire nobody.
I love her. It's so sweet. You got nothing to worry about.
Hey,
You
it's
got
two
to trust me.
Nobody.
different philosophies.
Yeah, I ain't hiring
You know,
nobody.
There's two ways
You
to
got
do
trust me.
things.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, man, you're such a
El's not
fucking
coming from a
inspiration,
pig
bro.
perspective. I
Thank
came from
you.
a pig perspective at one time, and I'm cleaning my life up.
No, your life is cleaned up, man. And yo, congratulations,
Mike, you're doing
congratulations
great, bro.
on this cannabis thing,
Yeah,
man.
oh man, this is really
this
crazy.
is the pic.
Yeah, that's the pic of me on the star, like before.
That's so dope.
Before, yeah, show it to the camera. Before I had a star, that's the picture of me, like on the star. You know what I'm saying? Like wanting to get on the star. Like that was us
That's so
dreaming of the
dope.
star,
You
and
were
then we ended
you were
up. Yeah.
visualizing
Who those
that,
other people
dude.
with
That's
you?
E-Love and Cut Creator. They both
Yeah,
from Queens.
Cut
Both from
Creator. I
the hood.
remember those
Yep.
guys.
That's
What happened to
amazing,
E-Love? He's
He-
still
he's
around?
still, yeah, he's still around. I
Cut
don't know.
Creator's still around?
Cut Creator still
All right,
does.
what happened to the kid from California? He's the Bobcat. What happened
That's
to
my
Bobcat?
man. That's my
Wait,
man.
we're
Still around?
gonna have to get it
That's
on
my
the
man.
next round.
All right,
All right.
we'll get it.
Yeah,
we'll get
man.
it. This is a crazy picture. That's dope.
Hell, you're the man, brother.
My man. Appreciate
Bubba, how
you.
do
Hey,
you-
man, you want to shout
You need-
anything
yeah, you
out?
need anybody to know anything
Let
about you?
everybody know.
Nah, just hit me up. LL Cool J on all the social media and
Rock the
shit.
bells.
Yeah, Rock the Bells, Channel 43, Sirius XM, dope shit. Check out Lip Sync Battle, you know, on the Paramount
Love that.
Network. NCIS Los Angeles on CBS.
You doing that too? You still get paid if that runs?
Yeah, yeah,
All right,
I participate in the business. I'm doing okay. I can get a cheeseburger. You know what I mean? You know, I'm working on steak, but I can definitely get a cheeseburger. I can definitely get a cheeseburger.
That's good, man.
So
Yeah,
listen,
yeah.
what is 1 and 30 zeros? How much money is that? Let's put that there. 30 zeros
1
behind.
and 30 zeros?
Yeah, let's see what that is.
Well, shit.
I was looking at that and somebody showed me that and what it was.
Was that a trillion?
Nah, super million. I forgot
What
what
is
it
a 1 and 30 zeros? Shit. What does it say? It's a trillion. What does it say?
No,
a
more than
trillion?
trillion. Zillion. It's quadrillion.
One-
It's a quadrillion. Some shit.
You had it on the page before that.
I know it was cut off.
When I saw that
What
number,
does that say? One trillion right there. One with 24 zeros is a quintillion.
Quintillion.
One with 30 zeros go up. Sextillion.
sextillion. that's what it is,
Sextillion.
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 So
Shit.
we have to get sextillion next.
No doubt. No doubt.
There you go.
No doubt. It's sextillion.
We gotta get
No
sextillion,
question.
nigga.
No
That's it.
question.
Shit, man. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you,
bro.
man.
You're
Thanks
the
for having me,
dude.
man. Appreciate
Awesome.
it.
You're the man.
Love, man.
Yeah.
Mike, love, man. Love, man.
Appreciate you, man.
No doubt.
Mike, great episode.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thanks for listening,
Yeah.
everybody. We're out of here.
Hotbox.